Nerdrotic.com.
Hey, let's do that again. All right, fine. Hello. Welcome to 8 years of Nerdrotic. It feels like it's been 8 years. The first 5 of it, I was playing mostly to my plastic pals here. They were an amazing captive audience. A little quiet, though. A little quiet, but loyal, because they're pinned to the wall and they can't go anywhere. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you from Nerdrotic.com, and I would just like to say up front, all are welcome here. Trump supporters, welcome here. Republicans, welcome here. Democrats, welcome here. Biden supporters, welcome here. Anarcho-capitalists, really welcome here. Libertarians, welcome here. San Franciscans, welcome here. Communists, welcome here. You might learn something. Although most of you can't watch YouTube because you're in a totalitarian country. But there's no communists here. There's just people who went to university and let their head get filled with a bunch of bullshit. But you're all welcome here. And I do think, and I'm going to tweet this out right now, we might have the quote of the year. Let me see if I can get this up here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There it goes. I don't know how to pronounce her name. The young person from G4 who, as I stated, gave the best commercial for Friday Night Tights I could possibly think of a couple of days ago, gave us this quote. And sometimes, out of the mouths of babes, you get the quote that defines a generation, that defines millennials. Now, I know there's some good millennials, so we'll label this bad millennials. And there's bad Gen Xers and there's bad boomers. I know that. You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day. That is definitely the quote of the year. And that is the quote that defines a generation that we're going to get to. I missed all of that stuff too. I caught up on it later. I was busy. I was doing stuff. I was recording. So yeah, this is an anniversary live stream. I'm going to probably reset the origin story, maybe a prison tale or two, give you an update on Texas. We'll definitely talk about the G4 meltdown, which I used to love G4. We talk about it every day at the comic shop. We watched it religiously, especially Attack of the Show. It's been surreal getting to know Chris Gore from that show, from DVD Doomsday. And damn, like half the movies he recommended, I watched and liked, including The Losers. I love The Losers. And I believe that was the day he was wearing my comic shop's t-shirt. It's early in the morning, so I've got my bottle of water here. For me, for a YouTuber, okay, who usually stays up till like 2 or 3 in the morning, which is horrible. Got to really break that habit. But let's see who's here first. G4 should have stayed dead. Yes. But this isn't G4. We'll get into it, but I'm kind of perplexed on how it's even there. They must have some sugar daddy investor or sugar mama, because that studio looks expensive. If it's in LA, then unless they're in like industrial city or something, that the rent's going to be crazy. And then you have to hire all those people and pay them to read scripts and complain about unconscious biases. I don't care what your unconscious biases are. I don't care. You can objectify the hell out of anybody on this channel. I don't care. I really don't care. So let's see who's here. Mila. Hello. How's it going? Cameron Man J. Oh God, it's going so fast now. Lost Frames, Tater Squad, Daniel Lindsay, Vaughn. I'm just gonna say Vaughn. Matt Guy, what's going on? Google Plus suck balls. Cash Kester, what's up? Jennifer Cisco. Hello, Jennifer. Nick Riddick TV. Did I say that right? Jens Anderson, Andrew Clark, Thor TD. Thor, how do you feel about your hammer being female? Justin McDowell, what's up? Mossberg, Fat Elvis. God, when I was born, Elvis wasn't fat. That's how old I am. Rich Wallwork, how's it going? Jay is bored. Just another red shirt and his wrench, the R. Mark I.A. Hendricks, Tyrannus Cygnus, Derhobes. Did I just see Nina? What's up, Nina Infinity? How are you? Eric K and his wrench. MVP Max. What's up, Max? Lady Greymaster. Hello, Lady Greymaster. Welcome. Oh, look at Dan Vask. What are you doing, Dan? Congrats on 8, brother, and stop ruining my day with your unconscious bias. I will try to stop ruining your day with my thoughts that you have no idea what's going on in my head. You are not aware of at all. So it's actually your unconscious bias is assuming my unconscious bias, and you're letting it ruin your day. Here's a secret to life. You know, you come here. Art Bell's here, by the way. Art Bell's here from heaven. God, I miss you. I hope you're doing well up there. Yeah, so here's a little quick lesson in life that I'm sure most of you already know. I can't ruin your day. I don't have that kind of power unless you give it to me. Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers can't ruin your day, can't affect your channel unless you let him. Az cannot ruin your day. But you know what they all can do? They can make your day better if you let them. Yeah, it's only I have that kind of power to let things or people ruin my day. And hey, I'm not perfect. Sometimes that happens. But at least I can admit it. Right. OG, we got here. FG4, bring back Tech TV and the screensavers, OG Boxer. Yeah. I remember, oh God, that was a long time ago. Tech TV was in San Francisco. Was it run by IGN? Or did IGN have something different? Because I'm not a gamer. So I only knew about that part from people who walked into the store and would talk to me about it. But when G4 started up, and I think they got bought by somebody. Maybe a big company owns G4 now and they're flipping the bill. But you know what? Big companies don't like losing money. And I can't see how they're making any money with 950 people watching a live stream, and half of them are getting banned in the chat for saying things like wow and hello and hi. God, I missed the fun on that one. Oh well. It was it's just the latest one. We get one every 6 months. Somebody comes up and says, if you don't like my stuff, don't watch. Peace. Like she dropped the mic. Like she had this like massive hot take that was just regurgitated poorly, by the way, from 2017. Yeah, it wants its take back. We'll watch it. But Jesus. And then they retweeted it. They retweeted it. I mean, like, it was what, a comment or two or three in the comment section, and you just guaranteed you're going to get a lot more of them now. You're going to hear things like, why is Big Bird yelling at me? Stuff like that. Jesus. Then we also have a very, we went over this a little bit on the Real BBC. This article is kind of a big deal. It's something I'm going to cover quite a bit over the next week in pieces because it's really long. And I've got to read it a couple times. It takes me a couple of readings for stuff to sink in. And it surmises everything we've done. We've like a bunch of channels around here over the last 4 years. Everything we've been talking about, it's a summary of it. And it's about the overcorrection in Hollywood, basically from a lot of coincidental events, we'll just say. Going back to 2015. Now I'm going to spoil my next video a little bit. My next video started out as just, I was going to cover the article talking about the Miss Marvel reshoots, which it does. It starts out like that. But then I kind of go down a rabbit hole a little bit. Hopefully you guys like it. I don't know. But it talks about like the origins of the MCU, the origins of current year Hollywood. This article was like a gift from the content gods because it was exactly what I was breaking down prior to it being released. And that coming out within a couple of days of Bob Chapek's article coming out. And there's a lot of ways to take that. I wouldn't get too excited about it. Just, I just say, wait and see. Just wait and see. It's nice to hear a CEO say he acknowledges the audience. But that's like praising a dad for changing a diaper. It's like, I changed a diaper on my kid. Where's my trophy? No, you're just doing your job, wiping your kid's ass and throwing away his shit. I think it's interesting. And then there's the reshoots on Doctor Strange and Miss Marvel, and we all know it's just to throw in a bunch of cameos, but it is like an attempt to change things. So are people sick of woke Hollywood? Have been for quite some time. I think, as this article will state, the tide was turning back in 2019, but as the article states, then the riots happened, and that changed everything, which it did. It Hollywood hit the gas pedal, but they also revisited a lot of stuff that they were starting to move past because of financial failures. So after a year like the MCU had, and listen, some people will call it a triumph, and some people will call it a disaster. I would say the truth is it stagnated. The MCU from Disney stagnated, which is much closer to failure than it is to success. And with this stagnation, they were saved in the last minute by Sony with a gimmick that usually works in the comic books for a little while, but it's not something that's lasting. And that's bringing in a multiverse and having, like having Marvel and DC team up. It's like a really fun event that doesn't have any lasting impact on any stories moving forward. So it's just like one little fun event. And that's probably what Spider-Man is. Like I said, when I walked out of the movie, I'm like, if they don't do this again, I'm fine. I would actually prefer it to just like this be a one-off. Don't ever do it again, but they're gonna, and that's fine, but it's not going to be the same. It's just not going to be the same. That was a phenomenon. And it was fun. It was fun. And they needed it. But are they going to learn the lessons of people just want to have fun? We don't want to be preached at. We just want to see our superheroes fight bad guys and not talk to depressed rancors, or have the understudy fight the main bad guy and win in their first fight. And because she got thrown against the wall a couple times, people go, she's not a Mary Sue, even though she had like a little scratch right here, maybe. And I think it was the same scratch she had the whole season. Constantly moving goalposts, having the stars of a movie go after YouTubers, having the showrunners of Netflix shows go after YouTubers. I mean, it's kind of funny. The whole Jeremy Laura Hisrich thing has kind of gotten kind of cute. It was kind of funny at the end. But with Simu, putting us all on blast. And the truth of the matter is, with that movie, I said, because there's people, I know this happens on YouTube and the internet. I misquoted. And what I said about Shang-Chi was it was a average film that will do averagely. I didn't like it, though. But it's interesting that at the turn of the year, we're getting this. But like, if you look at what's coming out this year, it's going to be bad. There better be a lot of reshoots. Lord of the Rings better just not come out. That would be my recommendation. I don't know how you can fix something like Miss Marvel, which is a character created on identity politics. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to watch Miss Marvel. Okay, Miss Marvel is made for 14-year-old girls. So it's a comic. I dipped in on the first couple of issues, and it just wasn't for me. It really wasn't for me. So I couldn't tell you if it was good or bad. I would say it's bad because it wasn't for me, but it might play well to 14-year-old girls who it was made for. But did you know that they were touting, the Access Media, I'm sure backed by Disney, they were touting that Miss Marvel could be a possible replacement for Spider-Man. They were. I'll show you the articles. Righty. I think we'll start out with the origin story. Let's do that, shall we? And then we'll get into G4. This was all just going to be kind of a chill stream, but that happened, and I'm like, fuck it. And that article came out. We got to go over it. We're going to go over it a lot more on Friday Night Tights. I'm going to save most of the article for Friday Night Tights because we're going to have Gothics there and Chris Gore. And those are two people I'd love to hear their takes on that article. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a show on Friday, which is tomorrow. It's just tomorrow. But first, let's go over here. We've got Dan Vass. Thank you again for the 100 Brazilian pesos. You sexy man, you. Hey, Dan, can I ask you a question? Do you feel objectified? Does it bother you? Does it bother you how many women masturbate to you? I wonder, Henry Cavill has to be responsible for, I'm guessing, I'm going to go off the top of my head, 35% of the vibrator sales in this country, just in this country alone. I can't speak for internationally. But I do know that over the last 2 years, the sex toy trade has been booming for obvious reasons. Witcher season 2 came out. No, I'm just kidding. The coof. Heard you were yeah, this is good one. Thank you, CJ. I want to start out with this one. I heard you were a corporation on Twitter. Twitter isn't a real place, though. So there's that. Hail. CJ, thank you, who's been a member for 21 months, almost 2 years. Bless your heart, CJ. I am not incorporated yet. Right now, I'm still a sole proprietor, but for tax reasons, I will be a corporation, but I won't be a massive corporation that is influencing elections or speech. I would like to influence free speech and freedom, but I'm I'm under no delusions. But for tax reasons, yes, I will be incorporating. So, yep. No, somebody, I don't know what the fuck they were talking about. Somebody put up on Twitter that I'm a sellout and I'm a corporation because I had a LinkedIn profile. So, just in case you don't know, and this goes into my origin story, I had a life before YouTube, quite a full one, actually. So yeah, this isn't the AA story, so we're not gonna do all the robbing and stealing and getting in fights and hanging out with drug dealers and all that stuff. But after all that, after I had that life of misadventure, I cleaned up and I had no education. I've been kicked out of 3 high schools. And I started out delivering auto parts back in the 90s. My first job back was I went to work at Warehouse Records, which did not pay me enough to live. So but I managed to pay rent on that for a while, which is crazy. I think it was like $4.75 an hour. But then I got a $10 an hour job delivering auto parts, and I did that for 3 years. Listened to a lot of talk radio, and through the auto parts job, I managed an auto shop, and then I got an auto parts sales job at a dealership, and that was a good paying job. So I sold auto parts for many, many years, from Acura to Toyota. So for a lot of corporations. So that was one career I had. And then I did pretty well in that, saved a lot of money, bought a comic store, started my second career, being a business owner. So did that for 10 years, loved it to death. But then I relapsed horribly, damn near lost it all, had to sell my comic shop. And went back into auto parts. Because I had, it's great to have a skill. So I trade school. I that's not a joke. I would suggest you go to trade school before university. You're going to learn a real skill that's going to pay you real money and get you some great benefits. My last corporation job was Tesla, and it was fucking awesome, man. Like, all the benefits are free. They paid really well. Work environment was, I mean, that wasn't Elon's fault. They were still trying to figure it out, but it wasn't great, to be honest with you. But I don't blame Elon for that. I blame his underlings who were trying to force Tesla to be something it isn't, which is a regular car. But I digress. But during all that time, like after I relapsed and sold the comic shop, and the relapse story is, again, that's part of the AA story. It's sad. It's sad because the comic shop was doing gangbusters. It was doing great from right after the recession. Okay, I'll backtrack a little bit. 2008, the recession happens, and it's weird because I still believe a lot of the recession was perception. Yes, there was some real bad stuff going on, but things didn't go downhill until the San Francisco Chronicle, when people still read the newspaper, said, we're in a recession. And it was almost like that day, people stopped coming to my store regularly. I got cancels of, people canceling subscribers. So the store was doing good, and it went down to breaking even. And it did that for 2008, 2009, 2010, and 2011. So like for 3.5, 4 years, my store just broke even. So I had to do something quick. So I took a video course. A friend of mine took this video course and had ended up working in Hollywood and doing very well down there. Like he took this course and ended up working for Disney, and he was working on reality TV shows, editing, and he's like, you should take the same course. You can do it. So I did. So plopped down 10 grand to take a 4-week course at San Francisco State University, the adult division of it. And it was called the Digital Video Incentive. Now, this is very important to YouTubing, right? So I already knew how to, um, I don't talk about it much, but I illustrate, I draw. I'm an artiste, kind of. I'm not very good. I'm like very average, very, very average. Had dreams and aspirations of drawing comics when I was a kid, because I was always like the best artist in my class and stuff. But then when I got older, being the best artist in your class doesn't mean you're the best artist. So blah blah blah. Always like played instruments, and I was always just like average at shit. I wasn't like really spectacular at anything. But I taught myself Photoshop. I taught myself editing for, making commercials for the comic shop. It was all for the comic shop. Just taught myself all this stuff. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll take this and go actually learn it and be a professional. And then, I'll keep the comic store. I had a guy who wanted to buy it. And I'm like, I don't want to sell it outright, but how about you be a partner and you run it for a little while and I'll go work in Hollywood and we'll see how that works. It didn't really work out very well. Okay. I had to kind of run the comic shop from Burbank, and it was crazy. It was crazy. But I took this course, this digital video intensive, and it's a good course. It's a good course. The guys who run it overpromised like placement. Because they promised all this, like, we'll get you job placement afterwards. I just wouldn't believe that, because they didn't. They utterly failed at that. But they teach you a lot of skills. So I think, and when I walked out, I told them I think I would cut the promising of job placement and just say we'll teach you skills and you can go out in the world and get your own damn job. So it was a crazy course. It was an intensive. So it was, I'll say 2 years of film school without the theory at all. So it's all practical application. They put a camera in your hand the first day. The first day you're cutting a commercial. So we went out the streets of San Francisco, we shot some stuff, and we went back and we're editing. It was 10 hours a day, 6 days a week for 4 months. By the time I was done, I could fucking edit anything. They gave us a copy of Final Cut Pro. I believe that, they gave us a bunch of software, a bunch of expensive software. We had to buy our own computers though. And by that time I was ready to go. I knew a couple people who got me a couple of temp jobs. My first one was chaptering stuff for iTunes. And I've told that story. I had a guy sabotage my work for like an $18 an hour job. But I eventually got a job at Technicolor. So I worked down in Hollywood for a couple of years. But what I did was on weekends, I would come home and I'd be working, ordering for the comic store during all that while I'm working at Technicolor. What I did at Technicolor mainly was it was a pre-mastering technician, a job that they created. And it's like final checklist on Blu-rays, right? So I was the last line of defense to see if there was any mistakes. And I would have to, if it was a simple mistake, I would fix it. If it was something big, I would send it back to the project manager and it would be late. And I worked from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I did the day shift at first, hated it because it was like meetings every 6 minutes. At the night shift, I was on my own with 3 other people, just chilling. It was great. So I do all that. I work down in LA. I get to see what it's like in Hollywood. And even, I'm not working on any, I did some ghost work on a couple of TV shows, but nothing big. I wasn't involved in any major productions, but in the lower levels where I was working, I saw how cutthroat it was. Like even there, I saw how like, wow, you can't trust anybody. And it's sad because everybody knows it and they're not, it's not like they like it. They just like, most people are probably really sorry they're in this system, but it is a system of lies. It is a system of strategic friends. It is a terrible place. I'm like, oh, there's no amount. I mean, like, I love Hollywood. I love editing. I love all this stuff, but there's no amount of this that I am willing to put up with having to like be that kind of person. So I'm like, I'm fucking out. selling comics is way more fun than this. And yeah, and honestly, in some cases, I was making more money. But yeah, selling comics was way more fun. So I'm like, no, I think that's all I was put on this earth to do, was to sell comics. So I went back. Hated LA. I liked Burbank, but I hated just the attitude of Hollywood. It's so cutthroat. Strategic friends. You don't have a real friend. You have strategic friends. And again, people are apologetic. It's like, yeah, I'd really like to hang out with you, but you can do nothing for me. So bye. And it's weird. So yeah, relapse, sold the shop. So about, what is it? It was the anniversary for the channel is the 7th of January. My sobriety date was the 27th of December. So I think I recorded my first podcast on Christmas Day with my son, and I was sick, and we reviewed The Time of the Doctor, Matt Smith's last episode. But technically, the first one was my friend Dennis at the time was in town. I was at a sober living environment, and we were just like, I think his brother had just died. So we were both pretty depressed, and we're like, let's do a podcast. So we went to a local Starbucks at West Portal in San Francisco and just recorded our first episode. And then we did and at the time we didn't have a name. So we're like, we're starting the recording. We're like, what the fuck are we going to call this thing? And I'm like, I don't know. Let's just call it, we were right under the coffee shops under a place called Sutro Tower. So we'll just call it Sutro Watchtower, and we'll name it something else later. Now, I had thought up the name Nerdrotic long before that, in 2012, and I had the domain name, but I was saving it. I don't know what I was saving it for, but I was saving it. I'm saving it for something, which is weird because it ended up working out right. So we did this first podcast. I believe it was on the 5th of January 2014, and the podcast, believe it or not, we were talking about freaking Snyder and Superman and Batman. God, it goes way back. And then we were talking about, I think we talked about that. God, it was so long ago. It was either the first one or one of the first few. I think we were, though. And we were definitely talking about Arrow. Like, we were just gushing over Arrow. Like, Arrow is it. That is how you do superhero television. We loved Arrow. And then we talked about some comic book stuff, and we did these podcasts, twice a month. I started doing them, at a sober living environment, eventually came home, got a job, and, this is how I had to do it. This was swallowing a ton of pride. So after I had pretty much reached pretty high heights in part sales, where I was like an assistant manager and stuff, and then I went and ran my own business. When I sold the shop, I couldn't get a freaking job anywhere. So I had to take the first job I could get just to get some money. So I worked at like an O'Reilly's for like, I don't know, like a month while I was looking for like a better job. So I started out at like a $12 an hour job. I had to start at the beginning again. Then I got a job at a German car shop, which is probably the worst job I've ever had. Run by a complete douchebag. And it was very strange working around actual racists. It's this German car shop that services all the gay boys and girls with their VWs, but the techs were like, holy shit. So I didn't like anybody there. I'm like, I don't like anybody here. And they were all getting loaded too. So I'm like, I got to get out of here. So I got out of there, got a job up in Marin. And, I worked auto parts here and there while I was doing this. So we started out doing 2 podcasts a month, me and Dennis. And then I'm like, hey, I'm going to I'm going to back them up on YouTube. It's a good archive. It's a good place to archive. And then I can put the videos on my, cheap WordPress website, which I have to this very day. I've been waiting we're at that time where I'm going to actually get a professional to work on this website, but just this cheap ass WordPress website so I can host my podcast so it can go to iTunes or whatever. And it was never meant, I never meant to do anything with it. It was just meant to be fun. And if people were listening, great. If they weren't, whatever. It was a hobby. It was, I loved, the best part of the comic shop was bullshitting with people all day. It was a fucking great job. It's a great job. I don't know why so many comic shop owners bitch and moan. They do. Yes, Diamond is a bit of a pain in the ass. Marvel and DC are a pain in the ass. But you have control of everything. If I didn't like something, I didn't sell it. I don't know how I'd have a comic shop because I wouldn't be selling any new or Marvel or DC, but I digress. I got to talk comic books all day with everybody. It was great. So I missed it. So that's why I did the podcast thing. So we started out just reviewing television and doing this podcast and talking about comics and whatever the latest news was. And, like everybody else wasn't doing anything special. And my whole plan, I did have a plan. My whole plan was I'm going to do this until I open up another comic shop. And then we'll make the comic shop the platform for the podcast. So the podcast was just there as a placeholder, basically, until I opened my own shop. Then things started changing. So once I got on YouTube, it was it Brian Smart? Brian Smart, I'll never forget it, emailed me and said, I have been trying to talk to you on your live streams for like a month. I can't remember if it was 2 weeks or a month. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, there's a chat in the live. Oh shit. There's a live chat on the live streams. I didn't know that. I had no fucking idea. So Dennis and I started reviewing Westworld, Ash versus Evil Dead, Taboo, and all this fucking great television. Mr. Robot. And I thought we were in this renaissance. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Holy shit. And I was saying this is a future, long form prestige television is 1,000 times better than movies. And this is where comic book storytelling needs to be, because you can tell they put a movie like budget into 10 episodes and you can get to know your character, flesh something out a little bit more. And, when you have something like the death of Gwen Stacy, it means something because you get to know, say, Gwen Stacy over 10 or 15 episodes. So when she dies, you feel it instead of getting to know her for 15 minutes in a movie and then she goes, which they never did, of course, and they failed at. But I thought, man, this is the future. This is great. This is going to be awesome. And, I got my first 1,000 view live stream from Ash versus Evil Dead. To the point where we had people from the show content. This is when I had 300 subs. So just so you know, fellow content creators, you never know who's watching. Don't assume somebody's not watching your show because you got 300 subs. Because one of the stars of Ash versus Evil Dead, oh no, I'm sorry, this was Happy. My bad. Happy. One of the stars of Happy watched our show, and that was when I had 300 subs. And we ended up interviewing her on the show. And then other people, The Expanse. The Expanse. When it was canceled, I went live that night. And that was my first, I'm not going to call it viral. It was just my first big hit video. It got 60,000 views on a channel with 700 subs. I tell you, it took me years to hit 1,000. Years. I think it was 2016 or 17. So 4 years it took to hit 1,000 subs. And that was from The Expanse and the whole Save the Expanse movement. We got to know a lot of people in that, including talking to in turn, people who worked on the production, and they saved the show. And you know who was instrumental in that, by the way? Cass Anvar. Cass Anvar is the one star of the show that was instrumental in saving it. Of course, they sent him packing. And it got saved. It got saved. Now, I think it was always going to get saved, but, they played it well. They made it this fan movement. And it was fun for a while. It was fun. But things started changing, right? So I'm covering Doctor Who. I'm covering every TV show. And like Legion. Legion was fucking great in the beginning. Just great. But I started noticing what I started noticing in the comic books, right? But I'm like, at first I wanted to stay out of it. I'm like, we're just going to talk about, nerd shit. And there was plenty of good to talk about over bad to where you could do that. Wasn't very interesting. I was still getting my feet under me, and just having a good time. But I started noticing stuff with Star Wars. So I saw Star Wars and I didn't like Star Wars and The Force Awakens, and everybody loved it. And I'm like, shit. Okay. It's probably me. It's probably me. I don't think there's much to this plot. I think it's a remake of A New Hope. I hate what they did to Han. Can't get over what they did to Han. And I can't stand this new girl. And anytime somebody said that, they were called a sexist. And I'm all, no, she's not good. She's not good. But whatever. Made a ton of money. So I went back and watched it again, and I'm trying to convince myself, maybe I'm too hard on this. Nope, I wasn't too hard on it. I didn't like it. I thought it sucked. Rogue One, when I saw it, I liked. I said I liked it. And at the time I said, yeah, it's probably that last, 2 minutes with Darth Vader. Because that's what everybody wanted out of Disney Star Wars. That minute and a half of Darth Vader just cutting through the rebels like they're butter. That's what everybody wanted. They didn't want fucking Vespas and depressed Rancors. I'm just hearing about this. I'm so glad I'm out of Boba Fett or anything else. They just wanted some kick-ass shit. And that's where it started. So, The Last Jedi came out, and my two other co-hosts were still hanging around because we were still pretty much a neutral channel at the time, right? But I was doing all the work. The co-hosts would show up one would show up on time all the time and one would not. I didn't care, whatever. But I started getting really into this, and you know what? I have this really cool wife who saw me getting into this thing, which, it didn't make any money. It was purely out of love. So I worked on it just as hard then as I do now. I researched stuff. I was always just because it was fun. That's all. That's it. But some stuff started not getting fun, and it got harder not to talk about it. And there was a propensity to shut people down in the early days. And I think I'm being, I don't think I'm being descriptive enough on that one. There was a tendency to absolutely shut people down and call them a sexist and a Nazi if they just went, Rey's kind of a Mary Sue. Nazi! What? And people oh, okay, I'm not a Nazi. I've got black friends, and it's like they always on the defensive and shit. And it was starting to bug the shit out of me. Then I saw, fast forward, I saw Last Jedi. I've told this story before. I saw it alone because it was very hard to get tickets. I was on record as saying I love the trailers. The trailers look good. Maybe they turned it around. Maybe this Ryan Johnson kid is made this badass. I'm like, look at the silver fox. That looks pretty cool. Then I saw the movie, walked out with the worst headache I've ever had. Maybe I was dehydrated, or maybe that was just the change. That was the paradigm shift. Not really sure. I mean, such a bad headache, I couldn't drive home. So I stumbled like a drunk man to a fucking liquor store to get a big old thing of water. And I just drank out this water and sat in my car for a half an hour stewing, going, I cannot fucking believe they did that to Luke Skywalker. What the fuck? And people are praising it. Are you high? And I noticed that most of the people praising it didn't grow up with Luke. A lot of the youngsters, but some my age. There's no excuse for that. Then maybe you weren't that big a Star Wars fan. I don't fucking know. I just could. I said it at the time. It was an abomination. It was an abomination, and it remains an abomination. But it started a trend in Hollywood. And what really got the channel going was Doctor Who. So I covered the Capaldi era, and I did my best. They were bad, but I did my best. And Capaldi was not somebody I loved at first. You know, I'm an American, so I'm not familiar with the guy at all. He just my only perspective of Peter Capaldi was this guy who tends to play. He's a character actor, and I seen him in a Doctor Who, and I seen him in Torchwood, and I think I've seen him in something else. Don't know much about the guy, but you know, after I think it was like the 8th or 9th episode of season 8, I'm like, okay, I like him. I like him. I still would have preferred. I still think Stephen Moffat, I know what Stephen Moffat was trying to do. Stephen Moffat knew he had this last chance to cast whoever the fuck he wanted. So he just casted whoever the fuck he wanted. And that was his pick, knowing what was coming down the pike. So, if I don't know if you look back in the old days, there's a little section. My room was mostly Doctor Who. My room in San Francisco was mostly Doctor Who. It was just covered with Doctor Who shit. They announced Jodie. I took everything down, boxed it up, was fucking done. Then I had this, you know, again, at the time, the channel was past 1,000. I think it was a couple 3,000. One of my mods was, you got to watch the new Doctor Who. You got to cover it. I want you to cover it. I'm like, I don't want to watch it. I'm done. I'm out. I don't want to watch it. I know what it's going to be. I know exactly what comes with changing the Doctor into a female. It's going to be more of this Last Jedi shit. It's going to be more of this Star Wars shit at the time. Force Awakens shit. I saw it then. And I just didn't. I was out. I wanted to keep Doctor Who pure in my mind. Because it was pretty easy to recognize back then what was going to happen. The perplexing thing is how long it's lasted when it's clearly unpopular. Like shit, like releasing the 355. It's like, what? I digress. So they made the decision, and then I watched it. I tried. I did truly try. I was out by the second episode, and it looks like most people were. And it was very similar to what I saw in Star Trek. Was it a year before that? A few months before that, I was covering Star Trek Discovery. I had been following it because I liked Brian Fuller at the time. I thought American God season 1 was okay. There's some episodes I didn't like, but I liked a lot of it. So I'm like, all right, I like this guy. And then he's gone. And at the time, my only perspective of Alex Kurtzman was when the work he had done with Roberto Orci. So it was the 2 Star Trek movies and that TV show. I'm blanking on the name now. I reviewed the TV show and liked it, and I'm blanking on the name. It's been so long. I'm going to have to look it up now. God, I don't want to go to Kurtzman's IMDb. I know I liked Fringe. I did like Fringe. I thought that was good. It was also, God, how in the fuck has he gotten this much work? Sleepy Hollow. I liked the first season of Sleepy Hollow, then it went crazy. But yeah, I reviewed Star Trek and I was honest about that, and that did pretty well too. And I thought at first it was same with Star Wars. When Kathleen Kennedy was hired, I'm like, this is great. Star Wars belongs at Disney. Kathleen Kennedy getting hired, perfect. When they announced Star Trek was going to go back to television, I'm like, God, finally, where it belongs, episodic television. So here we are. Here we are. After Star Trek, after Doctor Who, and then, of course, you know, you guys were around for Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones was just a last-minute decision. I did not love season 7, but I'm like, you know, at least season 8 we'll get some good battles. Miguel Sapochnik's a really good director, and I think he's taking on 2 episodes. I don't see how they can end it in 6, but like it, you know, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. They'll probably have the Westeros Express back. That was my biggest criticism then. And yeah, Doomcock and I reviewed it, and that's when things got nuts. I think the first time, because our biggest live stream was 24,000, but I think our first, somebody messaged me and said like 11,000 people are watching. I'm like, what? And that had happened, like something smaller had, when Stan Lee died, that was the first time I think I had 2,000 people watching, which was a long time ago. That was crazy. So yeah, it was just over the years, persistence, covering Hollywood, and not bullshitting you guys, you know, and I think, I don't know if, it's strange how, when I went to that San Francisco State, the intensive, the digital video intensive, when I took that course, I thought I had wasted my money after I left Hollywood. Turns out it was great for the YouTube channel. So it turned out being worth every penny as time went on. Turns out me obsessively being into Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, Game of Thrones, all this Lord of the Rings paid off when I was fucking off with the quote unquote doing that stuff when maybe I should have been doing something more important like studying or whatever. Nope, it paid off. I was studying the right stuff overall. Is it luck? I don't know. I'm going to try not to figure it out because it is it is my reality right now. So it worked out. What didn't work out is Hollywood going to shit. Everything woke turns to shit. Woke Hollywood. And simply pointing it out has I become this act of bravery, and I still don't see it that way, but in the early days it was. You know, there were people who who were afraid to say, I don't want a female doctor. That's not why I come to the show. And if we were allowed to have like real discussions as adults, Doctor Who would be better off. Star Trek would be better off. Star Wars would be better off. You know, this new rules for Hollywood article coming out, people are calling it a breath of fresh air. It's just saying shit we've been saying for years. It's just okay to say this shit now. Why is it okay to say this shit now? A lot of people's hard work. Some of us aren't around anymore, but in the political sphere, in the entertainment sphere. Now, the reason I stay in the entertainment sphere is because so many people have abandoned it and gone to the political sphere. And I think this one's as important as politics for our country, for our culture. But yeah, there's a lot of people who have been canceled off of YouTube. A lot of people who paved the way for others to make it okay to say stuff like everything woke turns to shit, something you couldn't say 4 years ago. Or the doctor is a male character, something you couldn't say 4 years ago, 3 years ago. No, the vast majority of discourse, or not, wasn't even discourse, of what you were getting on YouTube was the young person from G4 calling you a sexist, calling you a racist, calling you a misogynist, saying if you don't like it, don't watch. Well, guess what? Everybody did. The Colliders bought into this shit. Nerdist bought into this shit. They all turned on their fucking own during the Me Too thing, which was as predictable as the sun rising. And G4, for one, why come back now? Why come back now when it's clear, like, people don't want necessarily this polished, well, right now it's a polished turd, but this polished type of, that's not why people come here. It's not why I come here. I'm not gonna, that's why I never watched Collider. I didn't want to see that. I'd much rather watch somebody sitting in their office. So yeah, 8 years it took. It started growing in 2016, 17, slow growth. And then at the end of 18, that's when things started changing, right? So I hit 30. I think I hit 30,000 subs at the end of 2018. And I recognized I was working at Tesla at the time. And I remember I went back throughout my life and I thought about all the missed opportunities. Like when Giorgio Tsoukalos from Ancient Aliens wanted me to do some work for him and I flaked out on him. Missed opportunity right before he went on to Ancient Aliens. That editing job I turned down. That could have got me working for a pretty big company in Hollywood. I kept that in mind. You know, I went back and thought of all the missed opportunities. And basically, I got honest with myself and I said, I turned down a lot of that stuff because I was afraid to fail. I was afraid to fail. Like when something presented itself, I nutted up. So I'm like, not this time. Not this time. So I saw the channel growing and it made a couple of bucks, right? It made a couple of bucks. And I compared that more than a couple of bucks, but it made some money. And I compared it to the money I was making working for Tesla. And it wasn't anywhere near what I was making at Tesla, but I saw potential there. So I went to Mrs. Nerdrotic and I've got an idea. I've got a plan. This thing looks like it's taken off. It feels like it's taken off. I could be wrong, but it needs my full attention. And quite frankly, it was starting to get in the way at work. And they were getting pissed off because I was always like checking my phone, looking at the subscribers, the analytics, talking to people, setting up the next video, doing all this stuff at work. And they weren't saying, but I saw them looking at their corner, out of their eyes at me. They're fucking giving me dirty looks. So I'm like, yeah. And I know my obsessive nature, and so does my wife. So I'm like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. We'll do it 6 months. 6 months. And if it doesn't work in 6 months, I'll go find another job. I mean, I wasn't going to find another Tesla job, but at that point, and it's like this to this very day, selling auto parts, it's very hard to find somebody who's experienced at it. So I had my pick of jobs. I could go on LinkedIn tomorrow and get the best parts job out there because there's just not that many people who are into it anymore. So she knew that. I knew that. So I'm like, let's try it for 6 months. That means Melissa was going to have to, pay the lion's share of the bills for a while. She understood that. And right after I made the decision, it popped up to like 50,000 subs and things started rolling. I would like to say I had it planned like that, but I didn't. I had no fucking idea. But I would have regretted it the rest of my life if I'd have passed up that opportunity. And she knows it. So I had to try. And I took a leap, just like I did with the comic shop. I gave up when I went and started the comic shop. I gave up a good job to go start a business I've never been in before. So I took that leap without a fucking net. And it worked. It worked. And it worked probably because I'm very, I don't have a ton of talent and much of anything, but I'm persistent. I'm really fucking persistent. So, and obsessive. And that helps. So here we are, and I'm having lots of fun. I wish Hollywood was in better shape, but the reality is we're probably not going to be able to save many, if any, of our franchises. Maybe I am sure Star Trek, Doctor Who, Marvel, all a decade from now, will try to reset it, bring back Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, like all that stuff. I just don't know if that next generation is going to be into it. I don't know if that next we'll find out. Usually when that stuff comes back around, it's some radical reboot, and you only get one shot at this. Doctor Who's a bit of a miracle. It got 2 shots. I don't think it's going to get 3. We're going to find out with the Doctor very, very soon. I think Star Wars is it. It's weird. I put that video. I was just talking to Jeremy about that. I got more clapback about that video than any of my Star Wars videos. And I'm just saying, I'm not covering it. I'm not going to review it. Like, it's all yours. You can have it. Fucking Vespas. Okay. Vespa away. All right, let's get to you guys a little bit. Then we'll get to G4. We'll get the G4. It's been fun as hell. I've got to meet a lot of great people. When I started out, that's the one thing I wanted to talk about, to up and coming creators, because I see a lot of you kind of grouping together, which is great. Great. You're grouping together. You're hanging out with friends. I didn't have that. The only people I talked to was Comics Division. I was very quietly in all the chats for the early Comicsgate stuff back in the early days with Englentine and Captain Cummings and Doug Ernst and your boy Zach when he did live streams. I was there for all of it. All of it. Me and Comics Division talked a lot, but I didn't collaborate a lot with anybody early until I'd say 3 years in. Learned some valuable lessons with that. But it's been great. I've got a great group of friends that I trust, that are fun. And Friday Night Tights is, it's an old show. We're up at to 179 episodes, but it actually goes back further than that. It's an old show that I've just stuck with. And it's had many incarnations. It's gone through many hosts, and it turned out cool. The Nooner is an old show. As a matter of fact, this episode right here is number 300. It's number 300. And I guess I can announce, real quick to dial back though. When you're an up and coming YouTuber, this shit doesn't happen overnight. And I guess the best unsolicited advice I could give is treat it like a hobby, have fun. And if something happens, it happens. Some people, like go out and I'm going to make money at this and do it. That is possible. But, it's also recognizing faults as much as anything else. That's all. All right, so the Nerdrotic Nooner will be back in a very big way. I don't want to give an exact date because it depends on when the studio's done, but it's going to be in February. It's going to be, there's going to be more of it. We'll just say there's going to be more of it. It'll be in a studio. I'll still do some solo stuff, but I'm also going to bring on a co-host for one. I'm not sure which day it'll be, Monday or Wednesday. I'm not sure. I'll let you know. You're going to love the co-host. I don't want to commit that person to more than one. Plus, I still want to do a solo one. So yeah, Nooner's coming back in a big way in February with a little bit of a new style, a new hotness. Lyra, thank you for the $20. She, congratulations. I almost said she. I don't know if Lyra is guy or gal, so I will say they. Thank you for the $20. I appreciate it. I am an adult woman, worked construction with my dad to pay for college, and I'm so grateful for how much I learned with him. Ah, see, there you go, right there. Out there really working. These skills are priceless. Unlike my biology degree, people love hiring me to do handyman work on the side. Argentavis for $3. Hell yeah. Having a handy woman, for one, it's a great gimmick. I'm sorry, it's a gimmick. And a handy woman would get, you would get all the jobs you get, because people would just go, oh, that's something different. And I said Tesla was begging women, begging them to work. They're like, we'll train you. We'll pay you $100,000 a year. And nobody wanted the fucking job. So don't complain to me about inequality in pay. Mike Rowe was just on Tim Pool. Mike Rowe, legend. He's from the Bay Area. So he was part of Ion the Bay or some fucking TV. He was on some news show in the Bay Area for years and years before he got big. Been by my shop and stuff. It was great to see him. But Dirty Jobs, go watch his Dirty Jobs. How many women want to work in those jobs? That, you know what, they're available to women. Underwater welding. Now some women do, but it's like 1 in 1,000. And those are good fucking paying jobs with great benefits. Underwater welding, dangerous, very dangerous. But that one's like $100 an hour, I think. Or it used to be. That was a long time ago too. Yef for $5. Yef. If Cobra Kai started its first season in 2022, Daniel would be married to a black woman and his daughter would be mixed because the message. Yes. Cobra Kai is your blueprint for success. And everybody and his mother has been saying that for years. Now, Spider-Man, No Way Home is a blueprint for success as well, but I would say Cobra Kai. You know what series is equal to Cobra Kai in greatness? Treating their old character with respect, introducing new characters that are funny and interesting, at least for 2 seasons. Ash versus Evil Dead. That show kicks fucking ass. The first 2 seasons are brilliant. You know what other show is great beginning to end? There isn't a second of bad in it. The Venture Brothers. The Venture Brothers. Go Team Venture. Jackson Public is working on a movie to wrap up the series. It'll probably be out in like a year. I was very upset when they canceled without giving us a resolution, but I'm glad they're going to give us a movie. Venture Brothers, go get it on, I think the first season's available only on DVD, but you can get it on Blu-ray. It's fucking great. You cannot go wrong. You will thank me later. Yeah, I reviewed a lot of good TV. I got into Farscape late. I think one of the best seasons of television that never got a second season was Taboo with Tom Hardy, which was I'm going to do a review on that. I am. Daredevil season 1, best season of television I've ever seen. Maybe, certainly up there. It's my favorite superhero thing ever. Daredevil season 1 and 2. I was so fucking blown away that I get the same enjoyment now as I did, and that came out a long time ago. Octopug82 for $5 says, so Mjolnir is female. She gets beat and thrown around for decades and always comes back. Is that the message they're trying to send? Happy 8th. Thank you. I think it is. That's terrible. Toxic Man Flu for $50. Thank you. Congrats on 8, Gary. Art Bell was my favorite, and I listened to every show from the high desert I could. Many times. While listening to you, I hear him again. Ride the lightning, my friend. I hope we break bread over pineapple pizza on one day, and I hope we do too. It's on me, brother. I like to throw jalapenos on that, if you don't mind. Little jalapenos and some buffalo sauce. Woo! It's good. Art Bell is, I guess, maybe one of the reasons I'm here. I have most of his shows archived to a certain point, digitally archived. And I listened to him. Greatest interviewer of all time. Period. Was the best of the best. That damn dope got him. That damn dope. By the way, these are, I was just reading the Streamlabs donations. I appreciate that. I'll get over to you guys. And after I read some of these, we will discuss G4. Phoenix Tangent for $10 says, hey, Gary, the production looks like it costs $30,000 to $40,000 per stream. Hollywood still doesn't get YouTube. That high production cost does not lead to success. That Frosk person alienating the audience is also a very unsound business strategy. Hail. I would totally agree. That's a very mature way to put it, by the way, Phoenix Tangent. I appreciate that. Yeah, overall, I have no idea what it costs. I just know that's thousands of dollars. That studio, it's a television studio for YouTube, which is just highly unnecessary. Get a good mic. I use an Electro Voice mic, so this is the most expensive thing I use. I use a Rodecaster soundboard, which is like $600. And then I use a Logitech Brio camera, which is $150. You can get it $100 some places. That's it. I've got cameras set up where I can change view. I just don't do it. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. You know what? Be interesting. Maybe hire, you know what? Here's unsolicited advice, G4. Why don't you hire people who don't need scripts? I don't use a script. It makes things a pain in the ass the way I record videos, because I don't use a script. So there's a lot of me sitting here for an hour doing this. Or I say something and then I'm like, fuck, I don't know if that's true or not. And then I have to go, because I don't trust my memory sometimes. So I have to stop what I'm doing and I go look it up and I try to reference it. And then I try to throw that reference in the video. Takes fucking forever, but I love it. But having her, we'll go over that. Having her come out and say, I read scripts just as good as the next person, but we don't have enough time to review games. So you're not really reviewing the games. You're not getting a review. You're getting somebody reading you somebody else's review, which could have been written by the people who made the game, as far as we know, or fucking who knows. So she just admitted to y'all that she ain't playing the games that she's reviewing on the fucking show. Well, let me tell you how we do things here at Nerdrotic. And it's a we now. It's not a royal we. There's Perry, there's Quarter Black, and there's X-Ray Girl. I only review what I've watched, and I need to watch all of it. I will not review parts of a series. I heard some people, I'm not gonna call them out by name. Call me out for my review of Hawkeye when it was clear those people didn't watch the whole series. I did. I'm not patting myself on the back. It's just, yes, there are some people who review shit without watching it. And one of them just admitted it. Yeah, it's kind of a rule I have here. I like to be as informed as possible. That's why I can't talk about Book of Boba Fett, because I'm not going to watch it. And I don't care. I think it is interesting to see people who knew Disney Star Wars sucked at making Disney Star Wars right around the time of Rise of Skywalker rediscover that Disney Star Wars sucks at making Disney Star Wars. It's kind of like Lucy pulling back the football all the time. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. Ryan, if Amazon screws with Lord of the Rings and wokify it, isn't that going to be the final straw with fans? Unlike Wheel of Time, Lord of the Rings is beloved classic. Ryan, for €10, you are correct. Wheel of Time it's a classic fantasy series that most people haven't read. I think it's just the hardcores of the hardcores. A lot of people have read it, but it's not Lord of the Rings. It ain't no fucking Lord of the Rings. No, fucking with Lord of the Rings is sacred text. Sacred motherfucking text. And I said in a video 3 years ago, that's how long it's taken to make it, 3 years ago, that I will dedicate my entire channel to bring down Amazon. Trina, the knitter Guthridge says, happy anniversary. Member for 10 months, too. That's awesome. Thank you. Modalicious, member for 25 months. Oh, my God. Bless your heart. Congrats on another milestone. Congrats to you. Judo Cricket, a member for 21 months. Congrats, Gary. Here's to 8 more great years. Ah, thank you. I appreciate it. That'd be awesome. That'd be great. Congrats on 8 years, Gary. I'm so glad you made your channel because of you. I met so many wonderful people I've come to call friends, and now the BBC is going to be the bestest ever. Thank you, Nina, for 100 Mexican. Well, I'll call them dollars. Thank you, Nina. Bless your heart. I've met some brilliant people along the way. That has been the best part of this, is meeting Jeremy, meeting Ryan at a fucking meetup, meeting all the people at the meetups, meeting Chrissy Mayer, knowing Comics Division for so long, and Odin and I had that little talk about Friday Night Tights. Talk about recognizing an opportunity. We recognized an opportunity. We jumped at it, and it worked. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun getting to meet Midnight's Edge, Mahler, the Critical Drinker, Bowles Trek, getting shouted out by Dave Cullen, fucking Razor Fist, talking to Razor Fist. That was, I fanboyed out a little bit with Razor Fist. All right, because I loved his stuff. So yeah, getting to meet Jeremy from the Quartering. It's been a lot of fun. It's been quite a ride. And I would much rather talk to them, talk to you, hang out with you. I don't ever need to have an actor, a creative of any kind on this show. I do not want to work in Hollywood for any amount of money ever. But I would like to enjoy some good entertainment. That'd be fun to cover. That'd be nice. That'd be a breath of fresh air. I think we got Better Call Saul this year. I will be covering the last season of Better Call Saul. For show. Oh, damn it. Don't do that. Hang on. You hit the wrong key. All right. I'm going to read a couple more. And then we're going to get back. Oh, what was that one? What the hell? Holy wait, what? Jesus. 8 stunt. Mexican Iron Man. Orderly. Happy anniversary. My member chat says I am only 26 months on this channel. Woot, woot. Keep the fires burning. Thank you for all you do and for all of us. DC needs to produce Crisis on Infinite Tijuanas. This would be a hit. I think DC's Crisis on Infinite Tijuanas would be a massive hit. And that is going to be the title of my biography if I ever do it. I mean it, Mexican Iron Man. And hail to you, brother. Hope you're doing well. And congrats on the gig over at Midnight's Edge, by the way. Go check out Mexican Iron Man. Strong supporter of the movement around here. And not just any movement, the movement. The one I believe in. I might be a idiot for doing it, but I believe in it. FG4, bring back Tech TV. Oh, the OG Boxer for $4.99. And the screensavers. I totally agree. Didn't know G4 was back. Oh, wait. No, it's not. Says Le Chevalier du Lys for 2 Canadian pesos. Member Nixon, a member for 5 months and a longtime viewer, by the way. MCU, DCEU, She4. She4. Oh, you win. This is a year of intersectional feminist failures. I think this is the year the intersectional shit ends. I don't know about the woke shit, but the intersectional shit is starting to come up against other stuff too. Like people are starting to recognize like, oh, they're not just shitting on white males. They're shitting on all males, Asian, Black, Filipino. Hail Gary, hail chat, hail fellowship. Gary, even though you're not nearly as bangable as I want you to be, I'll still watch. Live long and prosper. P.S. It won't let me send this if I don't censor it. Weird. Big worm for $20. It's okay. Well, I ain't getting any younger. That's all I can say. I'm just hanging in there, buddy. I'm 52. I'm 52. I used to be pretty and young. Maybe that'll be my prison story. I'll talk about how I used to be able to get pretty much whatever I want by working the lady who I know like wanted to pull me into the broom closet when I was in prison. So, and I worked it. I did. Hail, Gary. I'm glad Europeans are welcome too. Congratulations to 8 years. Late art for 249 Czechoslovakian pesos. Yes, Europeans are welcome. You're all welcome. I have it's 17 to 18% of my audience is from the UK. That's huge. It's got a lot to do with Doctor Who. A lot of Aussies. They all show up when I do the late night stream. So F name my name for $10. I'm objectifying you right now, big boy. Thank you. Speaking of objectification, let's go. Wait, there was one more I got to read, and then we're going to go to G4. What's up, Wes Moody? I see you. Did I just see? There it is. Oh, no. Get over here. Legalize adulthood for $250. Dude, I would like to normalize adulthood. And this will be a great transition into G4. Congratulations, Gary. Keep on keeping on, my brother from another mother. Hail to you. Thank you. Bless your heart. All right, let's go to there. I had to tweet that real quick. because that is the quote of the motherfucking year. But here we go. Bum, 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 bum. All right. Now, this has made the rounds. This is what you don't do ever if you're going to be a content creator. These are supposed to be professionals. They've got like lav mics and very well lit, nice studio, comfy couches. They have a sound guy. They have engineers. They have expensive cameras. They have makeup. They have makeup. They have makeup. They have more people working on that operation than Tim Pool does on his. This is what you never, ever, 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 ever do. And I don't, you know what? Yes, there are people who might be objectifying you. Does it hurt you? Do the comments hurt you? Because if the comments truly hurt you, get off of YouTube. Get off of the internet. It ain't for you. And I'm going to say another thing that might not be a popular opinion. Don't give a shit. You know what? It doesn't do your movement, your strong female movement isn't helped by this. This is weakness. This is weakness. This is precisely what people say when they say women can't hang. Now, she is just one woman because a lot of women can hang. Of course they can. But this doesn't help your movement. This isn't being a strong woman. This is being a weak woman, a thin-skinned woman. She let a couple of anonymous comments, and I promise you, it was probably a 15-year-old. It was probably a 15-year-old going, bangable. Yeah, and you let your panties get into a twist over somebody who made that comment and didn't think a thing about it when they just went on about their day. But she has the best quote towards the end, which really sums it all up.
Sexism in gaming. In joining G4,
they're so excited. Sexism in gaming, yeah! I almost thought like Ryan was in the audience. I'm like, who is applauding that? Oh, it must be Ryan. He's like, yeah, sexism. I'm okay. Look at the guy on the right. He's all, it's going to be a very serious subject. Now I'm trying to figure out if this was spontaneous. I kind of think it was. It's got 1.4 million views. And by the way, their live stream following up last night, 950 people watched. And I think 400 of them were from like Geeks and Gamers and Yellow Flash and Heel versus Babyface.
This is not where I thought we were going, but I'm here.
I'm here. I'm totally here for it.
yeah.
I'm listening. Yeah.
In joining G4, I was ecstatic to be part of something that I grew up watching as a child. But every time G4 is brought up in various channels, even in this YouTube channel, we have the chat in front of us. I can see you. Without a doubt, there will be backlash because I'm not as bangable as the previous hosts.
Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. People watched Attack of the Show because Olivia Munn was bangable, and so was Morgan. And actually, I'm forgetting the name. The girl who would, what was her name? The one who took over for Olivia Munn afterwards, who I thought was like seriously bangable. Yeah, that like Olivia Munn used to dress up in the slave Leia. I had the privilege, and I mean privilege of walking behind Olivia Munn at Comic-Con with the director of Fanboys while she was wearing her slave Leia outfit. It was a moment I will share with my grandchildren if I ever have any, because she had the best ass. She did. I'm a married guy, happily married guy. I could appreciate a nice ass. Yeah, let's. It sounds like she might be mad that she's not being objectified. That's what's really going on. I don't know. Listen, it's the internet. Coming out and doing stuff like this is a gift from the internet gods to channels like mine. It's the reason channels like mine and Yellow Flash and Geeks and Gamers and Heel versus Babyface and freaking Culture Casino and everybody else grows a little bit. They grow a little bit when somebody does shit like this. And you just buried yourself. Like, I checked in when I heard G4 was coming back from Chris Gore. I talked about it a couple times with Chris Gore, and I think he mentioned it, and it just didn't sink in. I'm like, wait a minute. They're coming back? They're coming back? Cool. All right. I was like, cool, right on. Boy, was I naive. I was like, oh, they're going to come back exactly like and just be Collider again. Okay.
It's somehow
Talk to him, Frost.
God damn that dude. I want you to put your hands down your pants and check and see if you still have balls, because I don't think you do.
It's somehow
Talk to him, Frost.
It has somehow been expected that you can talk about how much you jerked off to women as a compliment. It's not a compliment.
It's weird.
I think if somebody's talking about it, I would just probably think they don't give a fuck.
It's dehumanizing and it's weird. Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. Morgan Webb, Olivia Munn did not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they were funny too. That helped a lot. Other people said this, but if they were just nice on the eyes, it wouldn't have been as popular as it was. Is both of those women were funny, really funny. That's why it was really disappointing, but not surprising, to see Olivia Munn completely sell out and become douchey. You know, it feels like she went to Bohemian Grove and did the mock sacrifice to Moloch and came back douchey Hollywood, NPC. And it turns out, yeah, total poser. Didn't know shit about shit. It was all written for her, but was able to play it off very well. I'm not going to go after anybody's looks here. I'm an old man. I'm an old man. Maybe this is the kind of girl people are looking for on G4. I don't know. All I know is, like, she can park a car for $1.25. How do you like dim apples? Who in the fuck said that? Who in the fuck said that, you ballless bastard? You've got no testicles.
Hey, she cooking, y'all.
And that's just
she cooking, y'all. Is she? Is she cooking the 15-year-old? Because I think the 15-year-old just derailed fucking G4, an entire network. Some kid who probably just started his Adderall just fucking took out something that cost thousands of dollars a day when he should have been doing his homework.
obvious sexism. You don't need to explicitly objectify women or declare that you hate women to be sexist. Just go ahead and check out Thorne's latest meltdown on Twitter for some spark notes. Now, here at X-Play.
Who's you fucking referring to? Like, I don't know who you are, and you're referring to people I don't know who you are, and you're gonna tell us what sexism means. Somebody with the fucking ring in your nose who probably came straight from university, got this job to read a script, and you're fucking it over because you're dumb as a fucking bag of hammers.
Our reviews are written and produced by a team of people.
That is depressing. That is fucking depressing. A team of people came up with this shit. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know how much prep I did for this show? I took a piss and brushed my teeth, and I sat down and I turned the fucking camera on. That's how much prep I did for this fucking show. Pathetic. Fucking pathetic.
There are too many games for one person to shoulder the burden.
Are they? Are there really? I've got a son who should be doing a lot more schoolwork. Okay, admittedly, yes. Who can play all those fucking games and tell you all the fucking about them. He doesn't need a script. Maybe if you cut out a few trips to Starbucks or to that artisanal fucking avocado toast place at Silver Lake, maybe you can actually play the games. But maybe it's just like, games media. And like, hey, I can't say anything. I'm the worst gamer of all time. But maybe there's not enough that are on easy mode for her. But you don't see me reviewing games.
So we divide and conquer. And when we use language like we or I, that's the reviewer.
Do you use the word, is it the royal we? Kind of like Vito used it? Just checking.
That's coming from the mouth and experience of the reviewer reading that review.
I'm confused. Did you play the game or not? So you played the game, but then somebody else wrote the review and then you read half the review? I am totally confused about this. Because I think she just outed everybody. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm a simple man. I am a simple man. I've been kicked out of 3 high schools, so what do I know? I'm not as smart as her. Sorry, I have to get my education now. She's gonna she-splain me.
The reviewer, that's coming from the mouth and experience of the reviewer reading.
Okay, I need to hear that again.
So we divide and conquer. And when we use language like we or
I don't know what this has to do with sexism, but okay.
That's the reviewer. That's coming from the mouth and experience of the reviewer reading that review. And that's not to say that Gerard, TBH, Adam, or myself don't contribute to the reviews. We absolutely do. But it'll always be in varying degrees and take a whole team behind us. That's why we're X-Play and not Adam Play. We have done the experiment and controlled for the...
You're pathetic. You, sir, are pathetic. This is the guy who came out yesterday and said all Republicans are stupid and they drink piss. Yesterday, he said that. It says, welcome to the cesspool. Welcome to the cesspool. I'm going to give myself that one. So, okay. So you're experienced in what? You're experienced in reading somebody else's review? Is that what we're talking about here? I'm confused about the whole fucking thing. All I know is when you review something, usually you watch it, read it, play it, and then talk about it. It's like, no. We're going to get a team of writers and then somebody's going to read the review, but did you play the game? I don't really care, to be honest with you. I don't give a fuck. I am more perplexed that they got a bunch of money and they have writers. But I mean, like, there's late night television too. I got you. Like, Jimmy Fallon has like 14 writers on staff. 14.
The variables. Adam will read a script written by the same writer that I will read the other half of the script for, but I'll be the one flamed. And yeah, it also happens to Gerard and TBH, but that doesn't discount.
Okay. She just said, I will be the only one flamed, but except for the other 2 guys who will get flamed too.
We have done the experiment and controlled for the variables. Adam will read a script written by the same writer that I will read the other half of the script for, but I'll be the one flamed. And yeah, it also happens to Gerard.
I'm a strong woman. Why did you say mean things about me on the internet?
And TBH, but that doesn't discount the sexism of how it happens to me when it does. Both things can be true, that there is a general hatred of any change that isn't Adam, and that all receives
general hatred of any change. G4 has been gone for years. Nobody, like most people, don't know it's back. It's not like they did an astounding job letting the people know. Oh, I look forward to their streams in the future.
Special flame just for being a woman. And I wish I could turn the camera around so that you could see the incredible team that make X Play.
If you turn that camera around to that group of 15-year-olds, they would just give you a top 15 list on who's the most fuckable. That's all they would do. They wouldn't appreciate all of your hard work that you put behind writing reviews. It's not like you're writing a story or creating a game yourself. You're writing fucking reviews. And you know what? You guys are good at it.
Half of our producers and writers are women.
Great.
Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe.
But how hot are they? I fucked that one up, man. Damn it.
Jake, Zipper, Gabby, it goes on and on and on. Former writers that are now on ATOS like Vanessa. When you're in our DMs or on those YouTube comments or in Twitch chat right now, those reactionary threads thinking that I'm somehow ruining your current X-Play experience because you can't objectify me how you previously did to Morgan, or that I'm somehow less qualified to speak on something, but you can't quite put your finger on why, even though I'm reading the exact same script as Adam.
Nobody's saying you're not qualified. We think you can read just as well as Olivia Munn. She just had a better ass. That's all. That's nature. Welcome to the internet. I'm sure your reading skills they're probably better than mine. I'll say they're better than mine.
But you have no problem with he's part of it. You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day, and you're gatekeeping the gaming space. So maybe for 2022, we be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
Wait. Oh my God. That is the quote of that defines a generation. You're letting your unconscious bias ruin my day. Did you think? Yeah, that had to be spontaneous because that was retarded. Retarded. See, I can say that on my show. You can't say it on yours. Sucks for you. I'll probably get in trouble, but I don't care. And Dickless over here is just clapping away, going, man, I hate those fucking Republicans. Those fucking Republicans. Those Trump supporters. God damn it. Remember the Monty Python skit with John Cleese going, the fucking commies. The commies. The commies. I hate them. I hate them. That's what he is with Trump supporters. I don't know. Maybe one of these two dipshits are realizing like, oh, fuck. Our fucking chat in our live streams is now fucked for a month. Hopefully nobody does anything stupid during the next live stream, or it'll make it last a month and a half. And they did. Oh, well. It's nice to know you, X-Play and G4. I didn't care about X-Play. It's games. I give a fuck. But here's, in all seriousness, she's probably thinking she just had her Sally Field moment. But what she doesn't understand is the unintended consequences of accusing your entire audience of being sexist. When you're not being specific and you're not saying a name, there's a lot of people just sitting there going, wait a minute, I never said any of this shit. Why are you pointing at me? Why are you yelling at me? I didn't come here to hear you bitch and moan about a motherfucking comment on YouTube. It makes you a giant pussy. I don't care if you're a boy or girl. Well, we have a lot more for you on for Friday Night Tights, because this is this is like a gift from the content creator gods. When we get stuff like this, we just go, I don't know what I did right today, but thank you. Oh, I guess it just proves a point. Like, this is so our space, our fandom space, that was never perfect. That was filled with fucking discussions, arguments. I've seen people almost throw over like arguments over Marvel and DC at my store. I've had to get in between a couple of people who got a little passionate. That's fandom. That's what we do. And I want to live in a world. I want to live in a world where a woman could be like most women and they just shake that shit off. Like Taylor Swift. They shake it off. It's like, so what? So what? As long as the guy's like not walking in your house and watching you sleep or peeping Tom. But if somebody's throwing out a dumb little fucking comment on YouTube and you let it ruin your entire day and you let it fucking derail a channel, you just gave that 15-year-old kid all the power in the world. You let him destroy you. And it just happens over and over again. And I don't know, maybe she's young. Maybe she has some more life to live. And I was a bit of a firecracker when I was 24. I'd go off too. I would. I've been through it. I don't know how old she is. She looks anywhere between 28 and 38. I have no idea. But thank you, G4. We appreciate it. All are welcome on Nerdrotic. Thunderstorm for $99.99. I made it only 3 episodes into Boba Fett. The writing just isn't strong enough for me to continue watching. Gary, thank you for your work. It's been a great help for me. Well, thank you for being here, Thunderstorm. I appreciate it. Thank you for all the support, everyone. This has been the ride of my life. It has been a lot of fun, and we're going to have a lot more fun. Oh, I got to break this one out. We got these. We got them in green and blue. So the green, like Quarter Black wears that shirt, that like the army green, and then this. I don't know, a little flaky something there, but there you go. And the lady gave me the key to my house. Ooh, wait. That's right. This is the key to my new house. Hopefully I can visit it soon. I'm trying to fast forward this whole thing. But yeah, it's been great. And it continues to be great. It's been an interesting week of stories and all kinds of stuff. I saw Az go and debate Pedo. I saw Jeremy face some of his accusers over the last week, which was hilarious. By the way, that's what prompted the tweet from a few days ago. Some people said, well, why don't we hear from the other side on my channel? Well, Nerdrotic is the other side. You must be speaking of the side of the corporations, the creatives, Hollywood, the G4s of the world who are telling you to fuck off and calling you sexist. That's the establishment. There is plenty of representation over there. You want to hear the other side from us? There are thousands of channels on this platform. There are hundreds of fucking websites to choose from. Hundreds. We are the other side. We are the competition. We are the unpopular opinion. Proud of it. But that's what's inspired that tweet. I've wondered this a lot, but with all the adaptations we've gotten, why hasn't anyone gotten around to Terry Pratchett's Discworld? They did. They just didn't they? It lasted what was it called? They changed the name, bastardized it to the point where his daughter called it out. And BRS Dipper, the chat will know, but they did, and it failed. I don't think Terry Pratchett's Discworld is not adaptable. I just don't. It's a lot like Hitchhiker. I think there's only a couple of people on this planet who might possibly be able to adapt Hitchhiker. I just don't think it can be done. Because if you want to adapt Hitchhiker, you would have to approach it like I'm making a Tom Baker era Doctor Who. I mean, budget restrictions and all. It just wouldn't work as this polished thing. I think Terry Gilliam might have been able to do it at one point. Adapt Hitchhiker, Discworld. I think he might have been like a younger Terry Gilliam. Legalize adulthood. Thank you once again for the $250. I appreciate it. Olaf Van Ness for €2 says, Gary, thank you for getting me involved in the fellowship. You're welcome. Hail to the fellowship. The reason I call it the fellowship, I don't like the word community. It's a commie word. It's a fucking commie word, so I'm not going to use it. Chris X14N for $20 says, Hollywood and big corporations think that we are blind customers who can be used and abused. The average person doesn't want to be part of all that, and we will leave. We are customers. We are the buying power, not consumers. We are not consumers. Be a customer, not a consumer. There are plenty of consumers out there. I would say the Uber Eats driver, consumer. You guys, I would say, are the paying customer, the discerning paying customer, somebody with taste. All right. We're going to real quick go. I'm going to read a paragraph from. This is a fascinating read. Everybody has to read it. Okay. I will put it. I will tweet it out. Other people, Robert Meyer Burnett's tweeted out. It was Chris Gore who sent me this article while I was on the Real BBC, while I was making a video that turned into this very subject. It's on Substack. This is an article that was by Peter Kiefer and Peter Savadnik. Hollywood's, I should share it first. That would probably be helpful. And it's fascinating that this came out almost the same day as the Bob Chapek article came out. And it gives you two sides of the story, and it tells you what we're up against, and it tells you how tough this fight's going to be. This is why we can win. We can win. But it ain't going to be an easy win. You can't we'll win. No, you need to be involved if we're going to win. And I'll tell you how you can be the change you want to be. Oh, by the way, I know the frenemies are out there watching, so how's it going? Thanks for the click. I appreciate it. Stick around. Maybe you'll learn something. Hollywood's new rules. The old boys club is dead, but a new one with its own litmus tests and landmines is rapidly replacing it. This is all going to end in a giant class action lawsuit. It is because there's real discrimination going on right now. California is trying to change those laws. They almost succeeded. And it got shot down in the last election. So we'll read a couple of paragraphs from this. It's long, and I want to go over it in detail on Friday Night Types, but we're just going to go a little bit here. A few years ago, the editor-in-chief of The Hollywood Reporter pitched a story to the newsroom. He had just come back from a lunch with a well-known agent who had suggested the paper take a look at the unintended consequences of Hollywood's effort to diversify. Those white men who had spent decades writing scripts which had been turned into blockbuster movies and hit television shows were no longer getting hired and are no longer getting hired. The newsroom blew up. The reporters, especially the younger ones, mocked the idea that white men were not on the outs. The editor-in-chief, normally self-assured, immediately backtracked, and he looked rattled. It was a missed opportunity. That story wasn't just about white guys not getting jobs, nor was it really about the economics of Hollywood. It was about the stories Hollywood told and distributed and streamed on screens around the globe every day. And it was about this massively lucrative industry that had been birthed by outsiders and emerged out of the lemon groves into glamorous, glitzy mosh pit teeming with chutzpah and broken hearts and unbelievable success stories, and had made the American dream real, pulsating thing for Americans and billions of other people who thought that if you could imagine something, anything, you could will it into being. It was a story about who we aspired to be. After the meeting, a reporter approached another editor about pursuing it. The editor told the reporter to drop it. No one, he said, at Hollywood Reporter, one of a handful of trade publications that covers the ins and outs of the entertainment industry, was going to risk blowing up their careers over it. The explosion of woke, as one longtime producer put it, didn't come out of nowhere. So we're going to go all the way down here to this paragraph. Movies and shows that were once widely acclaimed but are now verboten, writers and directors said, including Blazing Saddles, even though it was co-written by Richard Pryor. The Bad News Bears, even though it featured a multiracial cast. Tootsie, because transgender activists. And Rocky, bad guy cannot be black, a director explained in an email. Nor would The Wizard of Oz get greenlit. The Munchkins? Forget it, the director said. Nor would All in the Family. Probably the most influential show of the 1970s, Archie Bunker, the main character, is basically a Trump voter, a producer explained. South Park, which debuted in 1997, has been grandfathered in. Otherwise, no way, another producer said. All of which may explain the strange news story of a $484 million Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, which we'll get into, which has it's off the rails. This article is good, but it misses the mark on a couple of things, and that's why they bring up the Quentin Tarantino in June said, Bill Maher's show said, it's like ideology trumps art. Ideology trumps individual effort. Ideology trumps good. Trump trumped Hollywood. This all happened because of Oscars So White, Me Too Time's Up, and the election of one Donald Trump. But this started with the Obama administration. The Obama administration was very cozy with Hollywood. What Obama recognized is he had become a cult of personality to the cult of personality, and he was willing to use that to assert power, to seat power that is long-lasting past, say, the term limits of a presidency. Anybody would do it. I'm not saying it's a massive conspiracy. I'm just saying there was a lot of very happy accidents to bring us to the Hollywood, to the system that we have today that is working in tandem with big tech, the mainstream media, big Hollywood. These are all competing entities. Big tech is crushing Hollywood. Hollywood is dying. Big tech will take it over. Hollywood is moving to Silicon Valley one day at a time, one step at a time. So why would they work with them? Why would three news networks essentially sound the fucking same? Why would CNN, MSNBC sound the same that compete? It's weird, huh? It's always been weird to me. Well, it's elitism, it's power. So prior to 2016, Hollywood was in a really good place. It was. Let's go to 2014. What Marvel movies came out in 2014? Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a year before The Force Awakens came out. Things were going pretty fucking good. TV shows were pretty fucking good. Comic sales were pretty fucking good. About that year, one Sana Amanat did a TED Talk about the importance of diversity in Marvel Comics. At the end of the TED Talk, she sounds perfectly charming towards the end when she essentially says she's going to use Marvel as a platform. 2014 is when we started seeing entertainment being used as a platform. This is something that was just slightly recommended by a certain administration. And here you have the problem. You have a problem with, you have an entire industry that's on one side of the aisle. You have the workers who work within the system, federal worker, state worker, who are largely on one side of the aisle. You have our news industry, who's largely on one side of the aisle. And here we are. Creators of entertainment are at war with their audience. Exhibit A Woke, the comedy series, which premiered on Hulu in September 2020, should have been the statement on America right now. It's about a black cartoonist who was awakened to the systematic racism after a run-in with the cops. The show started off on the right foot. The showrunner, Aisha Carr, and the writer's room she oversaw delivered a strong batch of early scripts, according to the writers. The producers weighed in. The notes were really sanctimonious. It was never supposed to be as serious as it was. We wanted a thought-provoking show that made fun of woke culture and explored notions of what black artists' life would be like in San Francisco among white liberals. But we could only punch down at the safest target, says the white man. You know what Hollywood needs? I said this 3 fucking years ago on this channel. Hollywood needs a Blazing Saddles of woke. Somebody needs to make a Blazing Saddles of woke, which just eviscerate. You know what? The people that do it, South Park. If they have the balls to do it, take the gloves off and go after them hard and make them look as stupid as they are. Oh, but you can't. It's not going to lead to a clash accent. I like that it's called common sense. What it's going to lead to is slow decay, which is already happening. It's already happening. We're finding other ways to entertain ourselves. And quite frankly, it's crazy what's going on right now. I've been sitting in my little fucking studio, so I don't go out very much. But what's going on in Texas right now is crazy. So my wife is working on the move in our house. So we're like, we have to replace kitchen tile. There was some wood rot the insurance company had to cover. We have a lot of workers there preparing the house because the house was built in the 80s, right? So we getting it up to snuff. Everything is back ordered. Everything. It's impossible to get shit right now. And I'm thinking well, was it supply chain or is it everybody moving to Texas? Well, it's both. Mostly supply chain, but everybody's moving to Texas. Fucking everybody. It's crazy. And, San Diego County, which is essentially, it's got a mask mandate. Nobody's paying attention to it. It's looking like ghost town. It's starting to look like ghost town again. So I don't know what the future holds for Hollywood. Their aspirations were awfully high over the streaming services. But what they forgot is good content. They just thought content would be enough. They really did. That's how fucking dumb they are. Look at the fucking morons at CBS, at Paramount. I mean, like, it's really hard. It's like I want to say they're the dumbest, but then I think of Warner Brothers. So we've got the Mensas at fucking Warner Brothers, and you know the giant the geniuses over at Paramount who like think, oh, we give Alex Kurtzman Star Trek and we just let him make all the fucking Star Trek he wants. It gives us plenty of content and the Trekkies will show up. Well, yeah, like the dumb ones like Kowalski or whatever his fucking name is, he'll show up. But most of us, like, I don't know, who critically think just aren't going to show up other than to mock it. And I have not found the time to mock Star Trek, although it's unintentionally hilarious. I will be there for Picard, though. I will fucking be there for Picard. Star Trek Discovery is just saccharine and retarded. But they thought they could just put content out there. Marvel thought we won't make anything of substance. We'll just put a bunch of shit. And you know what? Our dumb consumers will eat it up. Turns out there weren't as many of them as they thought. So Marvel can't afford another fucking year like last year. And that might be what prompted Bob Chapek to come out with his 3 pillars of bullshit. But there's one thing that's pretty good. Now, this article came out within days of the other one. So you see where Hollywood is now. So essentially, okay, there's a lot of people out there right now. And, I don't know. I don't know anything. I just go off my speculation based on life experience. So I don't know. Maybe Bob Chapek is the, lack of a better term, the white knight who's going to come in and save Hollywood and get rid of all the woke. But you see what he's up against, right? The entire town. Like he would be the Trump of Hollywood. He would be the Donald Trump of Hollywood. His contract is up next year. So is he going to go up against everything that Hollywood has spent building over since 2015? He just won CEO. So Bob Chapek lays out 2022 priorities in New Year's employees' notes. Referring to them as pillars, Chapek identifies the 3 areas of storytelling. Innovation. Disney hasn't innovated shit in decades. They buy innovations, but they have not innovated anything. And a relentless focus on our audience, which to me just sounds like lip service. They have certainly noticed that the audience is upset, that the audience has been fighting, something that they brought in by bringing in identity politics. Shows like Miss Marvel, where the only thing you know about the character is she's Pakistani and she's Muslim. Okay. But then you change your powers to magic, which is verboten to some people in Islam. I can't speak for all of them. I don't know anything about the religion. They can certainly have their arguments. I'm going to stay out of it. But that's what happens when you bring in identity politics, So you're going to change all that overnight? All right. Well, he's had plenty of opportunities. It's not like he hasn't been in charge for 2 years, because he has. Gina Carano was fired under his watch. A couple of racists were hired over at Star Wars under his watch. Rewriting Ripley article, which was supported by Lucasfilm executives, was under his watch. The exec status as sole leader was reaffirmed on the 31st. By the way, I need to check something. Oh, okay. Kathleen Kennedy's still Lucasfilm president. All right, just checking. Several other long-tenured execs have also departed the company. On Wall Street checklists for Chapek, the number one item is hitting subscriber projections for Disney Plus. Those numbers have sagged a bit of late, prompting concerns about its prospects after a white-hot launch in 2019. Well, of course it was going to be a white-hot launch, and they overestimated crazy. Listen to the numbers. Now, listen, they might hit these numbers. I don't think they're hitting these numbers naturally. Knowing Disney, they'll do some fucking kerfuffery or whatever the fuck they're, some skullduggery, some fuckery. I was trying to say fuckery. And they'll include it with some Verizon thing and they'll count that as a member like they did before. But they want to hit 260 million subscribers by the end of 2024. They're going to have to develop de-aging technology. No. I'm not talking about in films. I'm actual de-aging technology. Like they're going to have to de-age Harrison Ford back to 30 and Mark Hamill back to 30. And they're going to have to learn how to resurrect Gary Kurtz and get him to work with George Lucas again and then resurrect Carrie Fisher and then reboot the Marvel Universe with Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. And then maybe an 18-part documentary on Scarlett Johansson getting naked. Maybe you'll get 260 million. It doesn't look like they got 2 million. 2 million. And what do they have this year? Echo, Miss Marvel, Agatha, the Agatha show. Oh my God, I can't wait for fucking Agatha. Yes. Did you know it was Agatha all along? Uh-oh. I was looking at Sideshow. You caught me. Wait, let's go to the third pillar because it's the only one that fucking matters. It's the one with the audience. It's the one with the audience. Okay, here we go. We are a big company with many constituents and stakeholders, all of whom have had a place in our decision-making. Really now. Really now. But at the end of the day, I don't like that saying. I said it on Real BBC. I don't like it. Our most important guide, our North Star, is the consumer. And he's not wrong. That's what Disney wants. Disney wants you to be a big, giant mouth. That's a big fucking empty hole that they can throw their shit into. And teach you lessons, powerful lessons of empowerment, stunning bravery by removing masculinity from your life. You're not a consumer. You're a customer. You're a paying customer. You are the boss. And the best thing to do right now, listen, I can't tell you what to do. This is what I do. I cover this shit. I try not to pay for it whenever I can. And it ends up being quite a bit. I don't pay for stuff. If I really need something, I buy it secondhand. I know some people go, well, they're still getting money anyway. No, that's a lost sale. It's a lost sale. If you know anything about retail sales, it's still a lost sale. Sure. Yeah. But I'm not giving them any money directly. And if there's enough individuals who make the conscious decision to not give them money, that's the only time things are going to change, period. And it looks like a lot of people have done that. Consciously or unconsciously, a lot of people have done that. The WandaVision was pirated a bunch. It sounds like a lot of people were deliberately not giving Disney money. This is a good thing. This is a good thing. This is how maybe, and I mean fucking maybe, you get statements like this. Right now, their behavior tells us in our industry that the way they want to experience entertainment is changing, and changing fast thanks to technology and the pandemic. We must evolve with our audience, not work against them. And so we will put them at the center of every decision we make. That I will give him is maybe an acknowledgement. But which audience is he talking about? Which audience is he talking about? Is he talking about us? You think he's talking about us, the general audience, the common sense audience, the audience that goes, watches a Hawkeye show and wants to see Hawkeye? And it's okay with Haley Steinfeld too. She could be like his Robin. They tried to do that. And again, I will bring up the people who criticized me who didn't watch the whole show. I could tell you didn't watch the whole show because nobody would have blown past her defeating Kingpin. And I don't give a fuck if she got thrown around a bit. She got up, she's all doop, trick arrows. Oh, that was so fucking stupid. So the audience is going to be at the center of every decision they make. All right. I think we all need to be like Missouri in this one. And you got to show me. That sounds really nice. Gina Carano's still fired. High Republic's still out there. Sounds like Boba Fett's just a hot fucking mess. Every fucking Marvel show, to varying degrees, was shit. Some started out pretty good. Some could have been great concepts that I would have been behind completely. There were 10 Marvel things last year. 10. And only one of them was good, and only 2 of them turned a profit that we know of. And those were, unfortunately, Sony Marvel and not Disney Marvel. 10. That's 5 Disney Plus shows, 4 movies, 2 from Sony. Maybe that's 11. Hang on. Am I counting What If? Right. We had WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, What If, Loki, Hawkeye. Then we had Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals. Yeah, 10. And then Venom and Spider-Man. 2014, we got 2. Arguably 2 of the best movies in the MCU. Same year. I think a lot of people, and that's fine. Speculate away. That's what we do. This is what we do here on the internet is we speculate. That's part of the fun. We talk about all this stuff. If this guy, for one, okay, let's just say he totally takes the side of the majority of the audience, common sense, he will get destroyed. So hopefully he does it within a year. We shall see. We shall see. But it's certainly been an interesting few days, man. It has been an interesting few days, and I've dug it. And one thing I can tell you is, remember in 300, remember at the end of 300, they just wanted to make them bleed. That's all. That's all they wanted to do. That's what we've been able to do. There's a little paper cut. They're a giant corporation. We're not going to affect them. I understand that. But if we get them to blink once in a while, we get them to look, we give them a little cut, then we've done our job. This is how we win. You got to take those successes. It's like when you're on a diet, right? Diets suck until you see that first couple of pounds you lost, and then you get fired up. You see the success. It's tangible. It's tangible. And some people get inspired by that success. That's what we need to do. We need to continue to point this stuff out. We need to continue to inform each other. We need to continue to mock it because it's fucking funny. And in Jeremy's stream, somebody asked him the question like, I actually thought this was the one good question, because I have an answer for this every fucking time. Does Jeremy find it hard to look for woke shit to mock or to inform you or to talk about? I can answer that for Jeremy. No. It is easy as hell. We don't have enough time to cover it all. I have a plethora to choose from today. I chose Miss Marvel reshoots because it led into like 3 other stories. It's basically 4 videos in one. That's usually what I do because I don't have time to just do separate videos. But there's the new rules for Hollywood. There is that Bob Chapek article. There is Zorro. There is G4. There is Miss Marvel. There is 5 things I still need to review. There's never a shortage. And there used to be. It used to be, oh, the stupid woke thing happened once a week. Now it's 3, 4, 5 times a week. And no, it's not hard to find. I want it to be hard to find. I want to stop talking about it. I would love to fucking stop talking about it. I'd love for it to be over. But when we have Boba Fett shows that are about the shifting of power balances of indigenous people that are fucking sand people. Remember, you, and I'm talking about the writer, are the one who sees the sand people as the savage, as the native. I don't. I see it as an alien. I don't even know if it was human. I didn't care when I first saw him. We're not able to tell stories right now. Essentially, that's what that article is like, trying to save Hollywood creatively. Well, I'll say this. And I was talking about this earlier. There's a lot of people who can say stuff now that they couldn't say a few years ago. Now I'm talking to you, Hollywood, talking to the creatives who are watching me right there. There might be 1 or 2. You guys might agree with me, but you're afraid to say something because you're afraid to speak up. Well, yeah, now's the time. Now's the time to speak up. Otherwise, you won't have a job, or you won't have a job you like. And we, the fans, can't save your shit for you. You have to save it for yourself. I'm more worried about the culture overall. Your jobs over there, or a specific franchise, I'd love to be a part of possibly turning things around. But that's not the overall goal. It'd be nice, and I'll support it. But I'm more concerned with other things right now. You got to save your own fucking job. We got to stop waiting for Bob Chapek to come in and save anything. You can be the change. I can be the change we all want to be. Stop buying this shit. Stop buying this shit. Like, if you like I said, there was a bunch of people who were convinced Disney Star Wars really sucked at Disney Star Wars. After The Rise of Skywalker came out, pretty united front. Then The Mandalorian comes out. And they got you. They got you. Now there's Vespas in Boba Fett. there's fucking douchey hipsters on Tatooine. That's why I don't care. It's funny. It's funny. That is fucking funny. John Wayne for $19.99. My wife first mentioned Venture Brothers to me on your recommendation. I got the first 2 seasons for my wife for Christmas. Many times we are laughing so hard we had to rewind the scene. We'll get rest soon. Yeah, dude, it's John. It's the best. Venture Brothers is the best. If you want a good laugh, a good gut laugh with some good animation, watch the Venture Brothers. Mika P, thank you for the $5. Says, hail, happy 8 years. Can't wait to email you, man. Email me, Gary@nerdrotic.com. The P.O. box is in transition. My life is in transition right now to Texas. I took off Friday just so I don't miss Friday Night Tights tomorrow. I think it's going to be lit. Oh, dude, I love hearing that. Grand Admiral Adam as member for 5 months. Thank you. I appreciate it. Sergeant Politeness, who's been a member for 20 months, says, hail, Gary. Hail to the fellowship. Hail, fandom. Happy anniversary. Oh, what's going on with the bit rate? You sons of bitches. It's this computer. Keep up the great work. You too. Storm Tracker says, congrats to you and Mrs. Nerdrotic for 8 years. Thank you very much. Thank you. And she is instrumental in this channel, by the way. And thank you for being a member for 11 months. Something for normies for $49.99. Says, hey, Gary, I just got a promotion at my job, which included getting my own office. Now I can utilize the best perk, listening to your live streams while I work. Congratulations on the house. And when and where in Texas is the meetup? Have a great day. Let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. The Texas meetup will probably be in March or April. And I'm going to be in the San Antonio area, an area around San Antonio, way outside of Austin, because I don't want to be anywhere fucking near Austin. I mean, there's some nice people there, some really, really nice people there, but I don't want to live in San Francisco too. Basically, that's what I see it. But I'm out in, not out in the boonies, but I'm out away from things. We'll just say that. Or I can still get fiber internet because I need to get fiber. But I will be in the general San Antonio area. David Bryce Jr. Thank you for becoming a new member on the proto molecule level. Unfortunately, we're not going to learn about the proto molecule with the Expanse. We got one more episode, and they're going to leave us with blue balls. Robert McDonald for $20 says, 3 guys and a septum ring chick. But they're still the G spot 4. Yeah. Well, if you want, thank you for the $20. If you want a good representation of like how far we have digressed as a society, just look at what G4 was and look what it is now. Hail, Gary and chat. Keep it on. Thank you, Dancy, for 5 British pounds. That's proper money. Double Down for $50. Says, congrats on 8 years. I am late to the stream and I'll catch it later, but would love your take on the Power Ranger bike gang from Boba Fett. If you heard about it. I did. I just laughed. I think it's there's a gamer word I have for that. I think it's the gamer wordest thing I've ever seen. It's so lame. It's so lame. Star Wars is lame. Like if I like Star Wars, I would deserve a wedgie and a swirly. I would have it coming for liking Disney Star Wars. I would. I'd beat myself up. I'd pick on myself for liking fucking Disney Star Wars. F-grade art for $50. Congrats on 8, Gary. Turning 34 in a couple weeks. Oh, prime of your life, 34. My God. That was almost 20 years ago for me. And my back hurts just saying that. Just in time to lose my job for refusing the fax mandate. Fucking dude. You didn't lose your job. You didn't lose your job. You held the line. You got principles. You'll get another job. Feel quite a bit behind in life. If anyone needs a freelance artist for anything, I'd appreciate the consideration. Thanks. Hail to the fellowship. Go check out F-grade art. Thank you very much. Don't feel behind in life. You got, dude, 34, you're young. You're just getting going. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Make use of the gig economy. It's something I did not have when I was younger. I would have loved to have had, where you can just take little jobs here and there. You know, I would never shame anybody for Uber Eats driving. I think it's brilliant. I think it's fucking brilliant. And if it was there for me, I'd use it. I'd use it for sure. Having those little gigs that you can like, hey, I need a few extra bucks. I'll go Uber drive for a little while. I think those are brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Wait, where can we get the hats? I wanted a Nerdrotic hat forever, and I'm kind of a hat guy. Nick Nero for $4.99. Follow me on Instagram. We're going to do a giveaway first, and then we're going to sell some. Nick, but you can email me at gary@nerdrotic.com, but it would be better to follow me on Instagram because Mrs. Nerdrotic does the giveaways there, and we give them away for freezies. Culture Casino for $101. Congrats, my friend. Thank you for all the inspiration and motivation. I hope every content creator takes your insights to heart. Keep calling out the corporate content creators on their crap. Love you, brother. Love you too, man. Thank you for the $100. You didn't have to do that, Culture. Don't sweat the small shit. Don't let comments derail your fucking channel. Don't let other channels derail your other channel. Hyper focus. That's something we ADD people are really good at. We're fucked up at a lot of things. Like I can forget I just thought I'm probably have an appointment today that I'm forgetting. But no, it's later today. That's right. I just thought of that. Like I can forget major important appointments that I don't mean to forget, but I do because it's just how my brain works. But we're really good at the hyper focusing on stuff we're obsessive about. Unfortunately, I passed it on to my kid. But don't sweat the small shit. It sounds like a dumb saying, but it really works for content creation because it can really derail your focus. Getting worried about what fucking somebody says in a comment section. Like, who cares? They probably weren't even serious. That's the thing. Do you think that Disney is insane enough to reboot Star Wars? Yes. If so, do you think anyone would come back? I've moved on, still writing the book. I think that watching movies will go the way of reading books. People will still do it, but they won't be the media. They aren't the medium going forward. The Grizzly for $100. Brilliant super chat. No, the medium moving forward is now gaming. It is. It's the number one medium of storytelling. It's the number one medium. It is music and movies and books wrapped up in the one. It's because it's interactive. The other one, the one that will replace the mainstream media is us. Is we will replace them, each other. And I don't mean just like me and people on Friday Night Tights. I mean us, all of us. Douglas Adams predicted this in his last interview. It was so, man. You know what? I think he was the unintentional prophet. I think his brain just tapped into something that could predict the future when he was just trying to write his book. I don't think he was like, I'm going to predict the future. He just did things and he had a keen mind. And somebody asked him like where entertainment was going to be going in the 21st century because he had died in 2001. It was his last interview in San Francisco. And it was just a pre-interview, right? And he said, well, there's a word that people just came up with called interactive. But it's something that we used to do back in the 1800s. Like they would do the vaudevillian plays, the spoken word, comedy, and you would interact with your audience. And we've gone away from that in the 20th century with music being pre-recorded. We've separated from the audience. And now we're back to interacting with the audience. That's what gaming does. That's what we do. They can't compete against it. So yeah, there'll always be movies, but you want to look at if an ecosystem is dying, you look at the lower forms of life, like the frogs. If frogs start turning gay or dying, you know your ecosystem is dying. So independent films were dying for a long time. The ticket sales were down 30% in 2019 during a great economy because the movie is dying. The only really mega hits are Marvel movies. So and that's why you see people like Scorsese getting mad, because he's seeing the thing that's his legacy, because like Scorsese's done he's got all the money in the world. He should be happy, but the man's, he's an egomaniac. He wants his legacy. He wants to be known as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. You will be, you'll be known as the greatest thing in a medium that just doesn't matter as much as it used to. Because movies film was the pinnacle for a while. It was the pinnacle. Just like, early in the 19th century, boxing was the biggest sport. Then baseball was the biggest sport. And they're just not. There used to be a bunch of stadium rock bands that would sell out, tour and sell out, come out with a double live album. There just isn't anymore. And it all changed. All of it changed when they couldn't evolve. They could still be around if they figured out a way to evolve, but they can't. There's no way film can fight piracy. Streaming services are losing a ton of money to piracy. There's nothing you can do about it. You know how it could succeed? Making a quality product. A quality product will always succeed, no matter what the medium, no matter what the time, no matter what the importance of that medium. If it's a quality product, it'll succeed. If somebody comes out and makes a great double fucking live album and it's truly great with mass appeal, it will still succeed. Thanks for sharing your story, Gary. Motivational. Thanks, Nerd Cookies. You're doing well. Thank you for being a member for 12 months, by the way. And congratulations on all of your hard-earned success. I guess what works for me is I'm not competing. I'm competing with myself. I don't care. I'm rooting for my friends, and I know my limitations, but and I try to evolve. I try to change. Like relinquishing the editing to Perry was fucking hard. That was hard. That was really hard, but it was good. It was the right move. It was the right move for the channel. But as far as our art, it's dying because of intersectional feminism and the wokeism. It is the precise reason, because it's keeping you from telling a real story. Both of those things are writers, very creative, talented people, are now self-editing, and they're starting out with, okay, before I write my story, I need to make sure I have a properly representative family. Can't have a white lead, but he can be a white bad guy, but no person of color can be a bad guy or perceived as a bad guy, or you can't fucking write like that. We can't write rape in anything anymore, even though I'm writing a fantasy that's based on feudalism. I can't write slavery anymore, even though I'm writing a fantasy that's based on feudalism. The activists want everything destroyed. So they win either way. Either they fuck up your franchise and get some distorted story that they wanted that they're not really going to enjoy anyway, or they just completely destroy it. They win either way. It's very difficult to fight. Stop it. Jeremy, don't. $100 from D-Day Cobra. G4's #1 fan, by the way. Gary is the Joe Rogan of the geek world. Stop it. But thank you. I love you, brother. Thank you. Oh my God. Jeremy did some fine work yesterday. Did some fine work yesterday with G4. Holy shit. Oh, God. Once again, thank you. I don't know what I did. I don't know what any of us did. But they blessed us. The content gods have blessed us. And they always bless us with D-Day Cobra and Geeks and Gamers. Hail, Geeks and Gamers. Nerdrotic from the past for 2 Canadian pesos. Gary, I love your success. Can I borrow $5? Yes, but you have to pay 30% interest. That's what my dad would do. 30% interest. The one time my dad loaned me money, 30% interest. He was an asshole, but I love him for it. But he's a motherfucker. Oh, John Talks. Thanks, brother. Dude. Thank you for the $100. Jesus. We love John Talks. Go check. He's just been on it. I love what you did to your channel. I love that change. That was brave to do that. That was ballsy. And you and Meme do some great work informing the public in ways that the mainstream media doesn't do. So it's very important. It's actual important work what John Talks is doing and Memeology. So thanks, brother. Means a lot. Bass player 2011 Iffy says Fortis Fortuna Levat. Fortune favors. Oh, Fortuna Fortus Fortuna Levat. Fortune favors the bold. Congrats on all your success, Gary. Thank you. And it does. I love that saying. I just didn't know what it was in Latin. Jabber J, thank you for being a member. Well, look at all these rock stars. I got Nerd Cookies and D-Day Cobra and John Talks and Dan Vask and the Grizzly. Buford T. Justice for $49.99. Here's to 8 more years, Gary. Welcome to the Free Republic of Texas. Hail! Quarter Black, what are you doing? Happy 8th birthday to your channel and 8 years sober. I'm honored to be a friend, and now I get to work with you as well. Hail! And here's to another 8 years and beyond. Go Team Nerdrotic. Oh, go, Quarter Black. You did not have to do that. Thank you. Az says 16 divided by 2 equals 8 years. That's my math. We love Az. He's been 16 months. Oh, we got what's up, Az? Brick Man Andy is now a member at the proto molecule level, and Kung Fu hot dog legalize adulthood, you maniac. Freaking maniac. The guy on the 8 called The Compilations was a channel that garnered millions of views. He cucked out to G4 TV and sold a channel that got on average 7 million views a week episode. Way to destroy your own career, beard boy. Oh, is that true? So the guy on the 8 called The Compilations was a channel that garnered millions of views, and he sold out. That is so sad. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you have millions of views, don't sell out to anybody. You're making enough money. You cannot put a price on being your own boss. You cannot put a price on that. Is priceless. Priceless. I would turn down shitloads of money if I had to give up control. Fuck no. Never. Never. I don't work well with bosses. I am too insubordinate. I am way too insubordinate. Foul Ball Productions. Matt, what's up? I've been a member for 16 months. Hail, Gary, congrats on 8 years. You're an inspiration to the lot of us. Thanks for all the content and your bravery taking this stuff on. 8 more. Hail. I don't want to make it sound like it's easy because I don't want to but it is. I just don't care. It got worked out of my system when I worked in Hollywood. I'm like, oh, I don't want to make it here. Fuck this place. It's terrible. And that's why it's especially funny watching them, morally grandize, get on their fucking soapboxes. And I'm like, these people are terrible. They're like telling us how to live. They are literally terrible people. Like they'll get high on opiates and forget their kid in a car at a fucking party for fucking 10 hours. These are terrible fucking people. I cannot be specific on that one. Kid's fine. OG Boxer for $4.99. I met Mun in 2009 at San Diego Comic-Con. Panic Attack had me talking like a special needs kid. She was the total package then. Super hot, funny back in those days. Yeah, she was cool. She was cool. She had no problem rolling around the entire Comic-Con in the Slave Leia outfit, and walking behind her was an honor and a privilege. Privilege of a lifetime. It was. Hail Nerdrotic. I want to call her Foreskin, but her name is Frost Karen. Has the exact same voice and attitude as Anna Kasparian, and I can't not hear it. Oh, I just thought she would say at the end, how do you like damn apples? And I just want to go, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But it is your fault. It is your fault. It is your fault that you're stupid. Some people forget that sex appeal sells. There's nothing wrong with sex appeals. Sex appeals? Sex appeal and sex appeals. And if you want to get technical, yes, you are put on this earth to attract males. If we want to get technical about things, yeah, you are. I think the one thing moving forward we have to do is just stop buying into their constructs. Like, I'm not buying into your fucking pronoun, whatever. I just don't. I don't acknowledge it. It's not a part of my life. It's not a part of my reality. I will not participate in your fantasies. If you want to dress up like whatever you want to dress up on and get parts cut off your body and say that's real or authentic, okay, fine. I'm not participating. Bye-bye now. Thanks. See you later. I'm not going to change my language or anything. I am not going to be a prisoner to your fear either. I'm sick of that. I'm done with it. And don't bring a mask with me anywhere. I've had one person tell me to put it up and I just kept walking and they didn't do anything after that. So Nura, she mad. LOL. That's funny. She was mad. Hey, G4 lady, Justin Bieber wants his clothes back. Says Ramio Spess. Left cross for $4.99. Mostly a lurker, but G4 has about 100 employees and a ton of overhead. Doing skits and reviews for independent people on YouTube do it better. They do. They do. Jeremy does not have a writer. He has for his website, but not for him. Ryan, no writer. Az, no writer. Chrissy Mayer, no writer. She writes stuff for her comedy, but not for her podcast. Nina Infinity, no writer. Mahler, he writes his stuff, but he writes his stuff. Critical Drinker writes his stuff. And they're both superior reviewers of any medium of any kind than any studio fake ass corporate fucking YouTube channel on the platform, period. End of story. I would say, yeah, Critical Drinker, Mahler, Red Letter Media are like uber top tier. Miranda Sinastra simp for Gorsuch for $5 says YouTube doesn't want me to tell you that you're hotter than this girl. Don't know why. That's a beard, obviously. If she had my beard, she'd probably be better looking. Oh, Total Biscuit is $1 1,000 times the game's critic. Yes, critic this chick will ever be. He stood up for ethics and journalism. All right. Hey, rest in peace, Total Biscuit, by the way. And he said, we all miss you, says Ghost Ravenstorm. Yeah, rest in peace, man. G4, Olaf NS. G4, if you don't like it, don't watch it. Okay. You're ruining my day. I'm not ruining my day by putting too much value on your opinion. You, a person I do not know, your opinion of me is more valuable than my opinion of me. LOL, says Britt Cornier for $20. Well said. Quote of the year. Quote of the year. My God. Look at that set, too. You're letting your unconscious bias ruin my day. Derp, derp, derp. Oh, shit. That's got a lot of likes. I didn't think it would, but okay. I got to wrap this up because I think, is Drinker starting soon? Let me see. I thought Drinker, when is when is I'll go for a little while longer then. I was gonna stop when Drinker started, but yeah, we're gonna get a lot of with the Bob Chapek thing. With the Bob Chapek thing, we're gonna hear a lot of like back Disney. They're gonna this is what they're not dumb. Okay. I don't think everyone is dumb at Disney. Like Disney is definitely not as dumb as Warner Brothers and Paramount. Much smarter. They're evil. They're more evil than Paramount and Warner Brothers, but they're not as dumb. So they can do things like they check in and the problematic part of the fandom can easily be dealt with. All we have to do is give them some lip service. Tell them we're going to focus on the audience and we'll get around to that in about 2 or 3 years. In the meantime, tune into our new stuff. It might not be perfect, but in 2 or 3 years, we're going to turn things around. We're going to focus on the audience. Then they fucking got you. You're tuning into their woke shit. And guess what? They never have to fucking change. And you tune back in, things get successful. And they're like, oh, that change we were going to do, I guess it already happened. That's what The Mandalorian was. So Mopeds and Boba Fett is a direct result of The Mandalorian success. The Mandalorian wasn't that great. So we'll have years and years of potentially things are going to turn around. I need to fucking see it. And I need to see like something drastic now, like right now. It's great hearing it. Words are wind. Words are wind. When they come from CEOs, they're broken wind. So something radical has to happen, like canceling Miss Marvel. Canceling, I'm just spitballing here. The Acolyte. Publicly trying to rehire Gina Carano. Of course, Gina would turn it down. And if I were her, I would too. No way I'd fucking go back to that, no matter any amount of money. It'd be a step back for her anyway. But something, I don't know. I just like one little statement for the fans is not enough, not near enough. They do not deserve the benefit of the doubt. They've been telling you how much they fucking hate you. And I just read you part of an article, like how entrenched the intersectional woke Marxist part of fucking Hollywood is. And I'm sure there's people who want to fight that stuff. who want to, but they're not doing it. But thinking like something like Miss Marvel is going to be anything but a woke disaster. It's like, maybe you're not about it. Maybe you're not about it. That's fine. If you want to be about it and you want to just enjoy Marvel and DC, like mediocre shit once in a while, good. That's fine. Good for you. Let's go over here. But I would say definitely wait and see. Actions, not words. Actions, not words. And the actions of Disney it's the same Disney. It's the same fucking Disney. It's probably I guess overall, it's bad that I'm not reviewing Book of Boba Fett. Don't care. But thankfully, I pulled the audience. You guys, it was 70% said no. I asked a simple question is, do you care about the Book of Boba Fett? 70% of the audience said no. I think it's one of the very few polls I've done. I might do more of those. Got a huge response, like 20,000 people responded. Walking behind Olivia Munn dressed as Slave Leia, that is the epitome of straight white male privilege. Hail to the chat. Chris from Michigan for $5. Yes, I'm super straight. Super straight. Thank you. Carlos Estrada for $5. Common Star Riders features Common Less. Oh, is that what they're called? Common Less Boba Fett. Okay. I don't know what they're called. It's such a fucking embarrassing picture. It really is. By the way, I should have said this in the beginning. This is going to be on Nerdrotic Live. So I'm going to unlist this when it's done. If people miss part of it or anything, just hang on to the link or wait for the re-upload to Nerdrotic Live. I should have a video coming out tomorrow morning, hopefully. WG for $150. Says, hail and congrats, Gary. Here's a donation. How to help you load up on carne asada. Yeah, I'm trying to load up on the Mexican food without gaining a bunch of weight before I leave. Burrito prior to escaping Clownifornia. Also sent you an email with a movie poster idea. Think you'll enjoy it. Take care, man, and looking forward to your first Texas-sized broadcast. I am too, and hell yeah, thank you, WG. Gomer Kyle for $5 says, congrats, Gary. Jeremy radicalized me in 18. Been a hell of a ride. I didn't like to chat. Then 2020 came along, common sense, mad lads, and the chat took me in. Some are best friends now because of that, Gary. My redneck ass will always ride or die with you on any mountain. Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Gomer Kyle. Hell yeah. Gotti Gosling 4 for $100. Wow. The completionist, the guy on the left, has actually played hundreds of games and reviewed every single one of them 100% to completion. He has tens, if not hundreds of thousands of hours under his belt. This lady is trying to take credit for that. Sad. Yeah. That's why they had 950 people on their live stream. And I don't mean to shame that, but like they have more subs than I do. They have like 10,000 more subs than I. Well, I don't know if that was X-Play. I don't know if it was the same as G4. I don't know if it's all in the same thing. I don't care. But yeah. YouTube was doing a little scrub, by the way. Yellow Flash says the Book of Boba Fett sucks. Just accept it. And then Ryan Kinnell follows up by saying, I heard Kathleen Kennedy isn't in power anymore. How is that possible? She is still in power, by the way. Here, let's go to the Lucasfilm website. All right, here we go. We're going to the Lucasfilm website. Did you know that I turned down a job at Lucasfilm? I've told you guys that story. I did. I turned down a job as an audio archivist. There's some backup tapes that I used to archive stuff on with, I used to do archiving with Technicolor. So I came back and I had applied to Lucasfilm. I can't remember when I applied, but they contacted me like a year later and said, you want to come up and work on, at Skywalker Ranch? You can be an audio archivist. And I'm like, this is after I decided I'm done with Hollywood. I'm going back to my comic shop. So I'm on the phone with Lucasfilm. A year later, they're offering me this job. $16 an hour. I'm like, fuck no. Fuck no. They could offer me 30. I would have said no. But yes, I turned down Lucasfilm. True story. Where do we get to the staff here? My God. What a fucking who we are. Okay. Oh, look. Leadership. There's a suspicious amount of women. Oh. There's Michelle Rejwan. I thought she was going to take everything over. She's just kind of down there. There's a Dave Filoni is the only dude. That's so deliberate. Okay. Things are changing at Lucasfilm, folks. Things are changing. From the Force is female. But I'm pretty sure that says president. President. Does that say president? That says president. And look. Look what she uses as her banner picture. Princess Leia. Right before Luke dies in The Last Jedi. Yeah. Have fun with Star Wars. Have fun with Star Wars. I am done. I'm done. I will talk about people getting fired and hired. I will definitely check back on Kenobi when they have Obi-Wan and fucking Darth Vader. Fuck original trilogy canon. And I will chronicle that, but done. Don't care who's in power. Don't care. Don't care if Jon Favreau breaks into Lucasfilm with an Uzi and takes everybody hostage and usurps power by force. I don't care. Because I'm pretty sure Luke Skywalker died like a bitch, and so did Han Solo. Fuck anybody who wrote that. Fuck supporting anybody who wrote that. That is slowly extending a middle finger to your fandom. And we're I get it. Fans, you want to have fun. I just want good Star Wars. I just want good Star Wars. Are you getting good Star Wars? Are you getting good Star Wars? Or are you getting Star Wars you have to make an excuse for? That's a question you got to ask yourself. Because I don't give a fuck. Hardwick Benthau, what's up? For $1, he says it's impossible for current year Marvel to get the X-Men right. Even if they don't change the name and don't race swap any characters, simply put, they can't make a good X-Men adaptation because they have Magneto's world view. Yep. You are exactly right. Like even with Spider-Man, what they had to retroactively fix it to the end where they had to race everybody's mind to bring him back to being Spider-Man. Like, it's cool that they fixed it, but they put himself in that position, which they never had to do. And I'm telling you right now, we'll find out with the Fantastic Four. If you want to know, okay, Bob Chapek's coming in. He's going to fix everything. You pay attention to that casting of Fantastic Four. By the way, there are some big-time scoopers. Big-time scoopers who have called it yours truly misogynist and sexist and regurgitated some stuff from Wikipedia to try to say I didn't read the comic books and they regurgitated the stuff from Wikipedia wrong, have said that Fantastic Four was going to be cast by the end of the year. Maybe they meant the end of 2022. We're also going to get mutants introduced into She-Hulk. Oh, that's not happening either. Like the Juggernaut. Maybe. I kind of like the Fox's Juggernaut in Deadpool 2. Deadpool 2 is a movie I kind of liked. I hated the kid. Hated the fucking kid. Wanted the kid to die. Caligula for $5 says, "Congrats on 8, Gary. Gary, I originally came here because of Doctor Who, which is now dead or on life support. But in the meantime, you and some of your favorite YouTubers are kicking ass and telling it like it is. Cheers, Gary. And thanks. And here's to 8 more. Caligula for 1. Fucking great name, by the way. And thank you for the $50. That is such a good name. Yeah, that's the thing. The telling it like it is. It's not always. I mean, I'm just doing it from my perspective. Okay. So I do not think this is the gospel. It's just my opinion on things, just my view, which a lot of people disagree with, but still hang out. And I like that, but that's my favorite part. We can disagree on stuff. Congratulations says Lyra for $20. Thank you very much. Floydian Freak for $10 says, "Hey Gary, many congratulations on the 8 years. I have been a follower for almost half of it. Excellent. Even though you don't see me or in chat much, thanks for all the entertainment. And here's to 8 more. You are welcome. And thanks for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you all for your support. Again, this is the ride of my life. It doesn't have to be rocket science, though. Sometimes we YouTubers try to make it in the rocket science. I don't know what Ryan meant by saying Kathleen Kennedy. Like, I don't know if that's from a new story or if it's an old story. Yeah, I was reading some tweets about Boba Fett. I think, honestly, the most entertaining thing about Boba Fett is watching the fandom like rationalize and just the mental gymnastics going on. It's kind of fun. Listen, we are an optimistic bunch. We want to enjoy stuff. Okay, we want to have fun. That's what we're here for. And I've got a resentment. I have a huge resentment. It's not healthy. I have a huge resentment towards people who want to take away my fucking fun, who tell me I or you don't have the right to enjoy some creature culture comforts that we should constantly. And I mean, this is the mentality. I put this guy into one of my Tolkien reviews. That socialists and Marxists want you thinking about society, thinking about the environment, thinking about the world all the time. And if you're not thinking about it all the time, you're a terrible person. Nobody can do that. Nobody can do. You know how you change the world? Don't be a dick and try to like make your world like retail workers. I treat them extra nice. I mean, not that I ever treat them like a dick, but I treat them extra nice. I've noticed all the Starbucks around here, all the Pete's coffees too, are all closing early. They're all closing at like 2 or 3 now, and they've all turned off their apps because they don't have enough people to work. Because California just gave away a bunch of fucking free money for one, and then make it easier to not work. The state is so fucking dumb. And they're going to double taxes. I can't wait to get out. I just can't wait to get out. Can't wait to get the fuck out. I want to go. All right, folks, I got to wrap this up. I'm just going to make sure. Fantastic Mr. Knox for 50 Australian dollars. Gosh, watching episode 3 of Book of Boba Fett. That was goofy as shit. Whose idea was it to allow hover Vespas? Anyway, happy 8 years streaming. Love your content. Thank you, Beth. I'll tell you whose idea it was. A story group. It's a story group. Justin Chacos for $50 says, thank you very much. His first time chat, listening for almost a year, going to be a member someday to celebrate your anniversary. Hail Nerdrotic, and hail to you, Justin. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I am trying to, and welcome Robert Lewis to the Gandalf level. Magician Sapphire for $10. Hail Gary, hail chat crew. G4, screw Star Wars, screw identity politics. Fuck identity politics. Fuck it. I'm so fucking tired of it. Stargate 404 for $20. Congrats, Gary. It was great to meet you in Vegas and always great to listen to the chat on the member streams. Found you in 2009 and haven't stopped. 2019 and haven't stopped. Listen on a plane, car, bus, and tube. You're the first channel, first joined. No regrets. Hail to you, Stargate 404. It's always great talking to you. Member stream coming very, very soon. We're going to have one this weekend. Thank you, buddy. Having to keep seeing the Psycho, that Psycho reminds me of how many lovely, lovely ladies we have in the fellowship. You know who you are. Brightest Day for $4.99. Oh, Brightest Day, you know. We do have some lovely ladies in the fellowship with very powerful minds. Frosk will learn this the hard way, says Fantastic Mr. Knox for 20 Australian dollars. Yeah, I almost feel sorry for her. One of those dudes should have stopped her, man. Should have stopped her. Somebody, you know, like, you could probably tell she was getting upset before they came on, and maybe she sprung it on them. But somebody, I don't know, that was was that live or was it recorded? I would have pulled the fucking plug. That was just not good. You know what? There's different ways there's other ways to say things, but what you unintentionally do is piss off audience. Never, ever, 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 ever say, if you don't like it, don't watch. If you don't like it, keep watching. You might find something you like. You might find something you like. Semi-Pro 680, welcome to the Geloja level. I appreciate it. All right. Here's the deal. I got to go. I'm going to try to do a square up tonight. So, Nerdrotic Live. Nerdrotic Live is where this live stream will be in about 2 hours. And hopefully tonight I can do a square up from BBC and tonight. And this. It'll be late. But if you miss it, you'll be able to watch it on Nerdrotic Live. It'll stay up there. Okay. Sorry I couldn't get to everything, but I do have to miss the wife is here today. James Zabriskie for $14.99. Don't worry. I hated The Force Awakens too. Remember my brother saying, don't worry. The next one will fill in all the story left out and Rey will be Luke Skywalker's or somebody or something. F Disney, Star Wars. Exactly. And that's what I thought too. That's what everybody thought. Somebody thought. Double back again. Thanks so much for the first 8 years. Looking forward to Texas meetup. Hell yeah. Thank you. Don Hoons for $10. I convinced myself The Force Awakens was a good movie, but I couldn't after I saw The Last Jedi and started looking for people who hated it and liked it. That's how I found Nerdrotic. See, that's how I found all y'all. It was looking for comics, and I read a Screen Rant article that was telling me how great Captain Marvel was and how popular she was. And I'm like, that is just fucking categorically false. That is just not true. I sold these comic books. I know this character. I actually collected Miss Marvel comics when I was a kid. I know how popular and unpopular this character was. I know this character disappeared for a decade, more than a decade. And then I started finding people and I'm like, oh, and now they just lie to you. Now they just come out and go, Shang-Chi was a success. That is a lie. That is a fucking lie. It is not a success. And I know it's got Blu-ray sales and all that. And no, Blu-ray sales are negligible now. Negligible. If they weren't, they would put more into them. They put the bare minimum into physical media. Physical media is going to have to become artisanal. And it has in a lot of ways. Sith Cake for $20. I hated The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, but watching critics praise them left me confused. I thought I was crazy until I found Mahler's rage videos and thought 6 degrees of Mahler, and I found the rest of my favorite YouTubers. Fuck yeah. Mahler is a gateway drug, is a good gateway drug. Is a good gateway drug and a nice guy too. I don't want to ruin his reputation of being savage, but he's actually kind of a sweetheart. Thank you for John Platt. Thank you for being a member. And I am sorry I have to go. There's so many of you I got to get to, and I didn't. So yeah, I'll get back to it tonight. So tonight, 11 p.m. If you're still up, tune in. We'll read the rest of these and some from Real BBC. Thank you all for supporting me for 8 years. And hopefully we'll get 8 more. We'll get 8 more. In the meantime, I'm sure there's some wonderful people streaming that you can go check out. I know Drinker was starting at some point today, right? Yes. Go watch The Drinker. He's got a happy hour with Geeks and Gamers and Cobra Kai. Here is, hang on.
First season, top tier. And then it's arguable on what you liked more seconds.
You can hear Jeremy right there. So go rate him. Go rate him. There it is. I put the link in the description. Go get him. Go get him. They're talking about Cobra Kai, which is fantastic. I can't join them. He asked me to join. I can't because I'm not finished. I'll probably do a live stream with, and I'll invite Drinker to it too if he wants to come. I'm going to do a live stream with Mrs. Nerdrotic on that. So once we finish up. So go enjoy The Drinker, and Jeremy, and I think Tom is going to be there, and tell them all I said hi, and they're fantastic. You guys take it easy. We're going to just jump out right now. We're going to jump out. We're going to end it